Welcome back to Success with Steven. My name is Steven Smith. On this channel, we discuss all things financial literacy. And today I'm going to be doing an update to a video that I had numerous questions on, and that is, how do I delete closed accounts from my credit report? As you guys know, since the beginning of the year, I've been updating all of my credit repair methods, showing you how to do this without the use of the CFPB. And this is just another one that I'm going to be updating when it comes to closed accounts. And we're almost done. It looks like getting through them. It should be like maybe, I would say, maybe a month or two for me to remake them all. And then I think that we'll be good from there. Now, you can actually delete closed accounts by using the previous methods in all of my videos, but I do want to explain the different scenarios and when you're going to use each method. So I'm going to put these videos in the timestamps below so you don't have to click off of this video and search for them. If you're someone new and any of these instances or the scenarios that I give pertain to you, you can immediately go down to the corresponding timestamp and click on that video, watch it, and follow those steps. Now, when it comes to a closed or paid collection account, go to the timestamp in the description and watch the collection removal video. I'm going to also do something different this time. I'm going to include every video for the Better Business Bureau, and I'm also going to include the videos for the CFPB. So you can choose the BBB method or you can choose the CFPB method. Don't submit it for both, choose one or the other. But I highly recommend you use the CFPB method. I think it's way easier and it just is, way more comprehensive than using the Better Business Bureau. If you have a closed charge-off account, you want to watch my charge-off removal video. If you have a closed account that has late payments, you can actually watch my previous video about updating late payments. Once again, timestamps are in the description. You can choose whether to use the BBB or the CFPB. That is up to you. Don't do both. You have to choose one or the other. Now, if your account is closed with, let's say, 4 or more late payments, then you might want to use the charge-off removal method, because 4 or more late payments might be very tedious and take you very long in order to update those. But in this video, I'm going to give you different scenarios so that you understand when is a good time to remove an account that has late payments and when is possibly a bad time to do that, or how it can negatively affect your credit score. Once again, all these methods will include the CFPB and the BBB. They all will be included in this video. Go to the corresponding timestamp, find the one that you would like to watch, and then click on it, all right? But my recommendation is to use the CFPB if it's available. If it's unavailable or for some reason you're having issues with the CFPB, you can use the BBB method, the Better Business Bureau, all right? Briefly, let's just talk about what a closed account is on your credit report. Now, whenever you're looking at your credit report, I highly recommend you go to annualcreditreport.com. Reason being, it is the most accurate credit report that you can possibly get. I highly recommend you get your report from there if you're going to be doing these disputes, just because sometimes these accounts say closed with some of these alternative credit monitoring services, and they're mislabeling them. They're calling charge-offs collections, collection charge-offs. It's very confusing. Easiest way, go to annualcreditreport.com. It's 100% free. You can get it once a week. It'll be all 3 of your reports, and it is the most accurate. All right. A closed account on your credit report is generally a credit card or a loan or another form of credit that can no longer be used. A card may be closed by you. It may be closed by the issuer. It depends on the circumstances of the closure. An account can remain on your credit report for 10 years after the closure date if it's positive. Now, if you've had some missteps before on that account and it has negative information, like let's say, for example, a late payment, that account will fall off naturally after 7 years. All right. But if the account is actually positive, then the account can remain on your credit report for 10 years. It just depends on the account status at the time that it was actually closed. Now let's talk about if a closed account is actually bad. So there are some people who try to remove closed accounts when you don't need to. Now, a closed account can be bad or it can be good for your credit score. It depends on the account payment history before it was closed. Because if you have an account right now that, let's say, is 5 years old and it's an old Capital One account, you didn't have any late payments, it's paid to zero, it's just a closed account, you would want to keep that account. Reason being, if that's your oldest account and let's say it has 5 years of history, if you close that account and your next account only has 1 year of history, it will shorten the length of your entire credit profile, which can negatively impact your score and can cause your score to actually drop. Now, I want to clarify this. If you have an account that's 6 years old, but it has late payments, that account will always be negative. It doesn't matter. If you have a charge off and that account has, long history, a charge off will always be negative. A collection will always be negative. Those need to be deleted immediately. If you have an account with very few late payments, maybe let's say 4, but the account itself has 4 or 5 years of credit history, you can dispute that account and update the late payments and turn that account positive. That one can be changed positive. The late payments can be updated. However, if it's a charge off, delete it. It's always negative. If it's collection, delete it. It's always negative. If it's a repossession, delete it. It's always negative. It will never not be negative. All right. Now, again, if it has long history, which one is worse? A late payment or long credit history? Late payments will always be worse. Late payments are 35% of your score. Credit history is just way lower in comparison. So, late payments outweigh history. Okay, so I would always be more concerned with getting rid of late payments than having an account that has a long, lengthy credit history. Okay, that one's on-time payments will always 1000% be more important. Your credit report is how well you handle debt. If you're late, that's going to always be bad. You need to get that off. Okay, it's just the way you go about it will be determined by how many late payments are on that closed account and the length of the history. You can attempt to update the late payments. Now, of course, how to remove a closed account from your credit report. We already talked about this. You can't get a closed account removed from your credit report if the information is accurate and timely, but if you believe the information is wrong or too old to be reported, then you have the right to dispute that information with the credit bureaus. Let's just go over the scenarios one more time where you delete it, you keep it, or you update it. If the account has a derogatory status, if it's a collection, if it's a charge-off, you need to delete it. Charge-offs, collections, repossessions, anything like those, they will never be positive. It doesn't matter if you update the late payments, that account status in and of itself is derogatory. It's bad. You don't want it. You need to delete it. Now, if you have a closed account, it's just a closed account, it wasn't closed in any negative standing, keep it, because that account is giving you history with your credit. And even if it's not like a very old account, a closed account doesn't hurt your credit whatsoever. It's just a closed account. It just sits there. It'll fall off naturally in 10 years. It doesn't hurt you in any way, form, or fashion. So there really is no point in wasting time trying to remove it. There really is no reason to. So if it's a closed account that has no derogatory marks, then just keep it. It doesn't hurt. And if it has long history, it actually helps. Now, our last scenario, updated. If the account has, let's say, 5 years of positive payment history, but it has maybe 4 late payments ever. In that scenario, I would suggest that you try to update it by disputing the late payments on that closed account. That is what I would suggest to you. Now, if the account has, let's say, 10 late payments, something it's like completely just excessive, In that scenario, you may want to consider just deleting it, and you would use the charge off removal video. You would watch that video. If you're going to update it in the timestamps, watch the late payment of removal video. You can just update the information. All right. So check the description for the corresponding timestamp, because if any of the scenarios that I talked about apply to you, you don't have to continue watching. You can go to the description, find collection, get it deleted. You can go to charge off, find that section, get it deleted. If it's a closed account that has, excessive late payments, file the charge off video, delete it. If it has very few late payments with long history, I would suggest updating it. If you're tired of trying to update the late payments because you're not really making any headway in doing that, then you can just go to the charge off removal video and you can get it deleted. All right. I hope that makes sense. So to wrap this up, just because an account is closed does not mean that it's negative by default. You shouldn't remove a closed account unless it's, let's say, included in a bankruptcy, has more than 4 late payments, or some type of derogatory mark. You want to try to keep the closed account on your report for the history. And if there are less than 4 late payments, you can dispute the account so that it's updated to paid, never late. Then that account actually will greatly increase your credit score in that situation. Now, to make that determination of which one you choose is up to you, and whether or not you want to choose the CFPB or the Better Business Bureau, that's also up to you as well. But this is the different scenarios. Now, if I did not mention your scenario in this video, you're going to have to just do a little thinking about this. Like, for example, I didn't talk about student loans. All right. I didn't talk about bankruptcy. I have no videos on student loans or bankruptcy because I've never had student loans and I've never had a bankruptcy. And I only make videos on things that I have done. Now, if you purchase the Ultimate Credit Repair Guide, I do have a section in there about bankruptcies because I do have an idea of how to do it. But just like I said last year, unless I helped someone like a family member or a close friend remove a bankruptcy, then maybe I might do that. I will never do that for a stranger or someone that I don't know, or as a service. You can't pay me. I will never do it. I'm not a credit repair specialist. I'm not trying to be one. I'm just giving you information that I've used to help repair my credit so you can get access to working capital, so you can create different streams of income, hopefully a business, or just free up your time to do things that you care about. This is really just a financial journey, and I'm documenting my journey. Hopefully by documenting this, it helps you. That's really it. I'm not doing this for a service to anyone. I'm not. I'm just documenting things, providing you information. I hope the information helps. All right. So with that being said, again, if your scenario wasn't here, then you'll just have to, kind of just ponder it. But in, I would say 90% of cases, one of the situations that I talked about, probably you fall under. And the only reason why I think you may not be able to figure it out is because you're looking at a credit report that might use different wording or labeling that's confusing. In that case, go to annualcreditreport.com, download your report from there, look at it, all right, and just use that information, and it should help you identify what's a closed account, what's a collection account, what's a charge off. And then you can determine, hey, if I have a closed account that's completely positive, I'm going to keep this. There's no reason to even waste my time fighting it because it's not doing anything to hurt me. If it's a closed account with very little late payments, I can get those updated. Let me go that route. If it's a closed account with excessive late payments and it's just too much, then you can follow the charge off removal video to get that account deleted. Okay? Hopefully this clarifies things. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. Once again, in the timestamps below, you're going to see videos on removing charge-offs, collections, late payments, and that's going to be videos of doing this through the CFPB and the new ones that I've updated for this year, which is through the Better Business Bureau. You can pick whichever one you want. The CFPB is open at the time of recording this video. I highly recommend using the CFPB. It's much easier. The Better Business Bureau sometimes can be a little bit difficult, and the responses that people have been getting can be mixed. Okay. So if you're doing like multiple disputes, the BBB just isn't as helpful. If you're doing multiple, the CFPB just makes it way easier. It's way easier. So again, it's up to you. You choose whichever one that you're comfortable with, but either one should work for you. All right. Thank you so much for watching, and you guys have a wonderful day. All right. So the first thing that we're going to do is go to Experian.com. So it's going to be usa.experian.com. The reason why I like to use Experian is because they include all three credit bureaus. You get Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. With a lot of them, you won't get access to all three. If you have an alternative that you use to pull up your credit report, that's fine. You just want a report that will show every negative item that you have for all three credit bureaus. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is log into Experian or create an account if we don't have one. To protect this individual's information, I logged into the account. As soon as you log in, you're going to click on View Report. You're going to scroll down to the bottom. That's where you should see your collections or negative items. Now, you only need a few things from the report. First thing, you want to make sure that you're on Experian, TransUnion, or Equifax, right? We're going to want to notate which bureau that collection is with. They might not report to all three. So for this report, this one is with Experian. So the collection accounts here that we have are Midland Credit Management and National Credit Adjust. You're going to copy Midland Credit Management. My recommendation is that you either write this down, you screenshot it, you put it in a Google Keep Note, but you want to write down Experian, Midland Credit Management. You want to make sure that you get the balance, highest balance, whatever is the highest balance. So for this one, it's only showing one. Balance and original balance are both the same. For you, it may be different. If it is, make sure you get the highest one. You need the name, the balance. You also need the account number, and you need the date opened. All right. So make sure, go to Experian, go to TransUnion, go to Equifax. They may have different names as well, but maybe the same account. You want to make sure that you go Midland Credit Management, copy the name, copy the balance, copy the account number, copy the date opened. And if you have more, we'll just go to the next one. You'll grab the name, National Credit Adjust. You'll grab the balance here, $525. You'll grab the account number here. You'll grab the date opened. And that's all that we need. So take your time now, collect that information, Experian, TransUnion, Equifax, get each of the names, account numbers, the highest balance, the open dates. All right. And then you'll follow me on to that very next step. Before we move on to the next step, I wanted to pull this up. It's the Cornell Law School 15 U.S. Code 1681 Congressional Findings and Statement of Purpose. I just wanted to make sure that you know your rights. You have the right to an accurate and fair credit report. All right. So the banking system is dependent upon fair and accurate credit reporting. And accurate credit reports directly impair the efficiency of the banking system, and unfair credit reporting methods undermine the public confidence, which is essential to the continued functioning of the banking system. So just bear in mind that when you have a third party that says that you owe them something, but you do not have a contract with them, you can ask them to verify that report. And if they can't verify that report, we look at that as fraudulent activity. All right. So we're going to move on to the next screen. We're going to be going to identitytheft.gov. Once you get there, we're going to click on Get Started. Then we're going to click on I want to report identity theft. There are some other options here. Someone has my information or tried to use it. I'm worried about identity theft. If you are worried that's going to happen, my information was exposed or breached or something else. So we're going to choose I want to report identity theft. Couple of options here. The one we're going to pick is credit card accounts. But if you had like a loan, there's an option for loans. There's an option for someone opened a debit card, a checking account, savings account in your name, employment or tax fraud. Someone opened a telephone or maybe cable, power in your name, any benefits here or other types of accounts you can also put here. But what we're going to be looking at is credit card accounts. And tell us how your information was misused to open a fraudulent credit card account. And we're going to click continue. All right, we're going to click continue here. All right, and where it says what company or bank issued the credit card, that's where we're going to go back and we're going to copy our account. So remember, you want to make sure that you do the corresponding bureau that we're trying to dispute with. So for this one, I'm just going to give the example of Experian. Hopefully you have written down all of those other ones. Write them all down for Experian. Write them all down for TransUnion. Write them all down for Equifax. So we're going to copy that name and we're going to put it in here. Now it is January of 2024. Whatever month and whatever year that you are currently in watching this video, you want to put that month in that year. So we're going to put January 2024. If you tell us when you know when the account was open, so we can just go back to the report and then we're going to go to the day it was open. So that was May 24th, 2022. So we're going to get May 2022. And if you know the amount, which we do, we're going to go back here. That amount was $1,104, $1,104. And then we're going to enter the account number as well. So the account number right here, we're just going to copy that. Or if you have it in your notes, just get it from there and enter that information. You don't have to worry about this part. We can skip that, but you want to add the additional account here. So we have our first one here. We're adding our second one here. You can do up to 5 accounts per report. Now, if you have more than 5 with Experian, do 5 on one, do the other 5 on the other, or however many you have left on the other. You're going to do this separately for TransUnion and separately for Equifax. All right. So our second collection that we had was National Credit Adjust. Again, we're just going to simply copy that information, go right here, paste it right in. When did you first notice that problem? Whatever month and whatever year that you are currently in at this time. All right. And tell us when the account was opened. We're going to go back to that. Date open, July 2018. So we're going to put the July 2018. All right, good. And the amount. It's going to be $525. Or again, you want to put the highest balance. Whatever the highest balance is, that's what you want to put. All right. And then we're going to copy this account number. And we're going to paste that in. And just that fast, we're done. Both accounts here. Again, you can do up to 5. If you have more than 5, then you want to do it on another report. And you're going to do a separate report for Experian, a separate report for TransUnion, and a separate report for Equifax. All right, so it's going to ask you for your first name. I'll just use my information here. And your primary phone number. This is not my actual phone number. It's just a Google Voice number that I'm going to use for the demonstration, but you'll want to use your actual phone number, okay? and then your email address. All right, so who's filing this complaint? Myself. And then you want to enter your date of birth. And then here you want to enter your address information. And this is not my actual address. If you go there, I will not be there. And then you could just put however long you live at the address. I'll just put 2010 and January. All right. And your name has not changed. If it has not changed, if you're military service, then you can put yes or no, and then we'll continue on to the next step. All right. Do you know anything about the person who stole your identity? No. All right. So on the 4th page, have you reviewed a copy of your credit report? Yes. Were there any fraudulent accounts included on your credit report? Yes. Was any personal information wrong on your credit report? So you can take this opportunity to get rid of any old addresses or any irrelevant information that you don't want on there. So you can add that. If your name is wrong or you just want one name, make sure that you specify that. I'll just leave that blank for now. I did an entire video on inquiries, so I'm not going to worry about this here. If you want, again, I'm going to link that video and you can watch the video on the inquiries. Have you requested a fraud alert from one of the 3 national credit bureaus? No, not yet. This isn't a big deal. If you get a fraud alert, you can just contact the credit bureaus and remove it. It's not a bad thing. It just has to do extra verification in order to make sure that you are who you say you are. And you can easily call any of the 3 bureaus. They'll remove it immediately. So that's no big deal. Me personally, I didn't even get an alert on there. So I wouldn't worry about that. Have you contacted your local police department? No. Was your personal information exposed in a data breach? No. Has a debt collector contacted you about an account that isn't yours? No. So we're going to hit continue and we're going to move on to the next step. Okay, so next page, step 5 is personal statement. So they want you to submit a personal statement. Here, I just gave an example. You could either copy this verbatim or you can kind of make your own. But I recently reviewed a copy of my credit report and noticed I had fraudulent accounts on my report. Please remove these accounts from my report. They are hurting my ability to obtain credit. So very short, sweet, right to the point. Just let them know that these accounts, you don't recognize them. You didn't authorize them. They're being reported by a third party, and you just want to just give just a couple little details there, and you're all done. So we're going to hit continue here. All right. So on the page 6, final page, we're going to see a little preview of our complaint here, and you're going to check the box, I understand, and you're going to finalize. And you can hit no thanks, just submit without an account, and continue. All right, so you're going to get a report here. You can download the report. Once you have it, there's going to be an option where your printer comes up, but you can go here and then you can just choose the option to save as a PDF. It's going to be different for everybody's computer, but PDF, save, and we could save that to the desktop. All right. And again, we're going to do this for up to 5 per bureau. If you have more than 5, do more than 1. And then we're going to do a separate report for each credit bureau. So if you need to go through, do this process again, do the process for TransUnion, do the process for Equifax, and then we're going to take all 3 of our reports once you're done, and then we're going to go to the next step. All right, so you can go to Google and type in CFPB or go to consumerfinance.gov. So we're on the CFPB website. Just to give you some backstory, CFPB, they were created to basically protect you against banks, lenders, other financial institutions to make sure that you're being treated fairly. So if you have some type of discrepancy with the credit bureaus, with your bank, with any financial institution, this is who you want to contact. This is who they have to answer to, right? So when you normally you send letters, right? And you want to go through a couple rounds of that, and then this would be like the final step. We're going to circumvent that, and we're not going to wait 30 to 45 days. We're going to go straight to them with our information, and we're going to submit that complaint. So you can go to the very top, submit a complaint. You're going to scroll down and start a new complaint. Now, one thing about this website, if you start a complaint, do not refresh the screen. If you refresh that screen, the complaint won't go through. Okay, it's happened to me. It's happened to a lot of people that I know. The complaint will not go through. So if you have to go back, do anything of that nature, just restart the complaint. All right. So go to start a new complaint. You're going to create an account. Make sure it's an email that you do have access to and that you're going to be using, because you do want to get the responses from them. All right. So start that new complaint, set up that account, and then I'll see you on the next step. All right, so once your account is set up and you're ready to submit a complaint, we have 5 steps to take care of here. The option that we're looking for is credit reporting and other personal consumer reports. There are some other options here that you can go through if you'd like to kind of go through that, check them out at a later date. Then by all means, I would recommend it. What type of credit reporting product? Credit reporting, and then we're going to click on next. All right, and then we're going to go to incorrect information on our credit report. Information belongs to someone else or identity theft. And have you already tried to fix this problem with the company? You always want to say yes, because if not, they'll try to defer you back to the company. Did you request information from the company? Yes. Did the company provide this information? No. All right. I would hit next here. And then what happened? You can pretty much copy and paste the exact same statement that you had previously. So I recently reviewed a copy of my credit report, noticed I have fraudulent activity. And then what would be a fair resolution? Please remove all fraudulent accounts. Thank you. All right, so here where it says attach a document, we want to select those reports that we got. We're going to add that here. Now, again, we're only doing 1 bureau at a time or 5 at a time per bureau. So this is for Experian. We're going to do 1 report for Experian. You need to include your driver's license, a picture of that, a picture of your social security card, a picture of a utility bill that shows your address, right? And you just want to make sure you have all this information, because sometimes they try to stall you out by saying that you weren't the one who submitted this. So the identity theft report, utility bill, social security card, driver's license, those 4 things we want to add to this report so they can verify that this is actually you. All right. So the company name that we're looking at right now is Experian. You can type it in. Name's going to pop up. You can just pick the first one at the very top. Then you're going to add all the information here. Last 4 of the social, date of birth, name as it appears on your credit report. Make sure to put the name as it appears on the report. Exactly the same. So last 4 of the social here. We're going to enter our birth date here. And the name as it appears on our credit report. All right. Do you want to complain about another company? No, because this one will be both of the, or in this case, both, but all of the collection accounts for Experian. We're going to put them all here. Again, if you have 5, it's only going to be 5. You have to do another one and then submit another report to the CFPB. So we're going to go next. At the very bottom, it's going to ask you to review. Since I'm actually signing into my account, I had to cut off some of the information there. But after you review the complaint, you're just going to scroll down to the very bottom. You're going to submit the complaint. You should get an email with the complaint details. And that is it. You'll want to repeat this process for TransUnion, repeat the process for Equifax. And, if you only have a collection account for one bureau, then just do one bureau. You could replay the video, make sure that you got all the steps down, and that'll take care of everything. Right. So the first thing we're going to do to get started, we're going to go to either Experian.com, or you can also use Identity IQ. My preference is Experian. With Experian, you can get all 3 credit bureau reports, and you can get it for TransUnion, Equifax as well. I use them a majority of the time. Identity IQ is also very good. If you don't have either account, I recommend maybe Identity IQ to start. You can start a free trial with them for as low as $1 if you don't have an account right now. If not, you can just use whichever one you prefer. But I recommend that you use one of these two. So if you don't have an account with either one of these two, first thing we want to do is create an account, and then we want to log in. So I'm going to give you a second to log into either Experian, Identity IQ. If you don't have an account, create one, and then I'll see you at the next step. All right, so once we're logged into Experian or Identity IQ, we're going to scroll down and we're going to find the account that's late. For this example, I'm going to be using this Credit One bank account. So we see we have a late payment here. We're going to click on that account. All right, so for this account, there's a late payment in September, and there is a late payment in October. No data for November, and no data for December. Now, I'm using this account as an example, and we're only looking at the Experian part of the credit reports right now. Let's say that this same account with Credit One was to have 30 days past due in September and 60 days in October. But then we looked at our TransUnion report, and September was paid on time, but it was 30 days late in October. That would be an inaccuracy. And then we would also look at the same thing with Equifax. So with this account, I believe that at the time, because I can't pull up the other report for TransUnion or Equifax right now, but in this example, September's 30 days late, you're 60 days late in October. The other one for TransUnion or Equifax, they had the opposite, like paid on time, but 30 days late in October. That is an inaccuracy, and that's an inaccuracy that we can actually use. So what I would normally do is take this, and then I would screenshot it. If you're on a MacBook, it's Shift-Command-3. Screenshot that, and I would probably screenshot the top two so you can get the account information here. So Shift-Command-3. That way we have the Credit One name here. We have the account number. We have this showing as 30 days late and 60 days late, right? And then we're going to screenshot this. We would then upload this to the CFPB, and then we're going to use this screenshot in our dispute. So again, right now, this is the only account that I have as an example. But what you'll want to do is just make sure that you find the account that's late. You want to make sure to get the account number. So make sure that you have that account number copied, because we're going to need this account number when we go and file the dispute with the CFPB, right? And then we want to make sure to have the screenshot of this payment date for September and October. And we want to make sure that we're reporting 2 late payments. So once you gather all your information, you're going to copy the account number. You're going to get a screenshot of that account that is late from the payment history legend. All right. We're going to go over to the CFPB, and then we're going to file this complaint. Now, before we go ahead and file that complaint with the CFPB, I always like to pull up the Cornell Law School compliance procedure. So that's 15 U.S. Code 1681E. And the part that we're always looking at is the B section, accuracy of report. So whenever a consumer reporting agency prepares a consumer report, it shall follow reasonable procedures to assure maximum possible accuracy of the information concerning the individual about whom the report relates. So this is actually what we're going to use in our dispute, right? We're going to be using the accuracy of a report. We're going to go ahead and let them know that that account was not late, and it's up to them. The burden of proof is on the consumer reporting agency. You have to understand, the credit bureaus are not government entities, right? They're just data furnishers, right? You need to make sure that they're reporting accurate information on your credit report, right? And the burden of proof is always on them to prove that something is not inaccurate. It's not on you, okay? We're just trying to make sure that our report is 100% accurate. It's up to them to gather information to determine if that's not true. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to take what we have here, the 15 U.S. Code 1681E compliance procedure, section B, and I'm going to show you how we're going to use this in order to file our dispute with the CFPB on the next step. All right, so now we're on the CFPB, that's the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. And I want to read this too. So we're the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, a U.S. government agency dedicated to making sure you are treated fairly by banks, lenders, and other financial institutions. So again, the credit bureaus are just data furnishers. The CFPB is an actual government entity, right? So this is the only real bureau, right? The other ones are just companies that furnish information. This is the only government agency, right? So this is who they have to answer to in case we have any complaints. So we'll start by submit a complaint, and then we're going to scroll down. Start a new complaint. If you have an account, you're going to go ahead and already submitted a complaint or created your account. We'll click on that. You'll sign in at the next step. If you don't have an account, just take the time, fill out this first name, last name, email, phone number, and you're going to create a password. You'll sign up and you'll verify your email. And once you've done that or you've logged in, then we'll proceed to the next step. All right. So once you're logged in, we're going to go to start a new complaint. All right, the option that we're looking for is credit reporting and other personal consumer reports. So we're going to click on that. And what type of credit reporting product? We're going to go to credit reporting. All right, and then we're going to go to improper use of your report. So share without consent, credit inquiries from unknown sources. Right. And then reporting company used your report improperly. And then have you already tried to fix this problem with the company? You want to always click yes. Did you request information from the company? You want to click yes. What information did you request? In this case, we can say statement proving I was late on this account. And did the company provide this information? Just always select no, they did not provide this information. All right, so we're going to fill out all of this information. Again, improper use of your report. Reporting company used your report improperly. Did you already try to fix the problem? Yes. Did you request the information from the company? Yes. The information statement proving I was late on this account. And did the company provide this information? No. So fill all that out, and then I'll see you on the next step. All right. So on the next step, I've already typed out exactly what we're going to want to say. You can modify this slightly. I always recommend just maybe changing it up just a little bit, or if you want to take it verbatim, then you can. So I recently reviewed my credit report and noticed an account that was not reporting accurately. I had 2 late payments, or 1, depending on what you're doing. I had 2 late payments on an account that was in fact paid on time, but consumer reporting agencies need to report all information with complete accuracy. Let me just fix that. This account has not been late on payments. I've attached a copy of my report to this complaint on the following dates. You want to make sure to insert the dates here, and you want to use the 2-digit date. So if it's February 2024, you want to do 02//24. I'm now requesting you investigate and provide verifiable proof with records showing that I had late payments. If this information cannot be verified, I demand these payments be updated to paid on time immediately. Thank you for your understanding and prompt action. So anything along these lines is fine. You can modify it slightly, change a little bit of the words. If not, use the same one. Just be mindful if you do copy this directly, make sure you update it to the payments that you have. Now, I recommend that you don't do this for more than 2 late payments. If it's 1 or 2, then that's good. If it's 2 or more, you might want to attack this differently. You might want to do like in sets, like 1 late payment, let it get updated, and then do if it's 2 more, then do the other 2. But I wouldn't try to do it all at one time. I would try to do just maybe no more than 2 at a time. So what would be a fair resolution to this issue? Update the account to paid on time and never late. Very, very simple, straight to the point. And you attach your documents. So you see the screenshots that we took. I've attached them here, and then they'll be forwarding them to the company. So take a look. If you need to copy that, and then this here too. All right. And then we're going to be moving on to the next step. All right. So on the next step, we're going to type out all the companies that we're disputing with. So we're going to start with Experian. And you could pretty much pick any one of these. Experian at the top, Experian Credit Reporting Agency, Experian Credit Reporting, Experian Credit Bureau. So let's just do Experian Credit Reporting Agency. And then you're going to enter your social security number, your name as it appears on the credit report, and your date of birth. So whatever your social is, you can enter that. You can enter your date of birth. Now, this is important. However your name is shown on the Experian credit report, you want to enter that. So if your name was Steven and it's showing Stephen, last name Smith, you want to enter it like that. If your middle name was James, Stephen James Smith, you want to enter it just like that. If they had your name with capital PHEN, however it's shown on your credit report, that's the exact way you want to make sure to enter it. Okay, so just make sure to enter that exactly how it's shown on that report. So however they did it, enter it like that. Do you want to complain about another company? Yes. Let's add TransUnion now. So for TransUnion, same thing. I'll use TransUnion with the capital. TransUnion Intermediate Holdings Inc. Or TransUnion Credit Reporting Agency. So whichever one you want to enter. Have you already tried to fix this problem with the company? So we want to enter the exact same information. Yes. Did you request information from that company? Yes. What information did you request? And say the same thing. A statement proving I was late on this account. All right. Did the company provide this information? No. So we want to enter all the same things, right? And then we're going to enter the same exact information, social security number, date of birth, same thing. And then again, however your name appears on TransUnion, you want to enter it like that. You may have multiple names. If you do have multiple names, you should refer back to my video about removing personal information. I'm going to link that video right around here so you can watch that. Okay. So however it appears, let's say on this one, it has the first name, middle name, and the last name. However it appears, we're going to enter it that exact same way. All right. And then do you want to complain about another account? Yes, we do. We want to complain about Equifax. And then same thing, Equifax Credit Bureau, Equifax. So Equifax Credit Bureau. Have you already tried to fix this problem with the company? Yes, we did. Did you request information from the company? Yes, we did. What information? A statement proving I was late on this account. Same information. Did the company provide this information? No. All right. And then same thing, social security number, name as it appears, and date of birth. So you want to run through and just enter all this information for all three credit bureaus. Once you're done, then I'll see you on that next step. All right. So this is the last step, step 5. It's going to ask, who are you submitting this complaint for? I'm going to click on myself, but after I click on myself, I'm going to cut to the end because my personal information does come up. But when you're submitting this, click on myself, okay? And then we're going to look at the review, and then we're going to get to the very end. So after I clicked myself, all I did was simply scroll down to the very bottom, and then you're going to click on review. All right, so it's going to have you review the complaint. You're going to scroll down and you're going to see all the same information. Again, it shows some personal information. So I'm just going to scroll down to the very bottom. All right, so you're at the very bottom. You just want to authorize and direct the consumer reporting agency identified in my complaint to share determinations and actions taken by the company for the purpose of responding to my complaint. Cool. The information given is true to the best of my knowledge and belief. We want to check these, and then you want to submit the complaint. So that is all the steps that I have for you today in getting late payments removed from your credit report. We're pretty much all done. Review the information, make sure that you have everything completed. If you don't receive an email within like 2 or 3 minutes showing that the complaint is completed, you do want to make sure that you go back and submit the complaint again. If you sometimes go back or refresh the page, the complaint does not get submitted. So you want to make sure, use an email that you're actually going to have access to. You want to make sure that you get an email confirming that the complaint was submitted. And then you can go back into your account and you can see that the complaint was submitted. All right. So all I can recommend is that you guys, if you've done this to get the late payments, I suggest going to watch my video about personal information, checking out the videos about removing hard inquiries, and also about removing the collections. This was a video that was requested in the comments. So thank you. If you guys have any more ideas for videos that you want to see, please leave it in the comment at the bottom so that I can make those videos for you too. Whatever you think that you have questions about, please let me know. I'll do my best to make a video for that. I appreciate all the love that I've been getting. We're almost at 100 subscribers, and I think it's been like less than a week. So I appreciate you guys so much. We're growing fast. You guys have a wonderful day. I want to preface this by saying, when it comes to charge-offs, there is no one that can guarantee you a charge-off will be removed in a certain period of time. What I can promise you is that if we do it properly, it is possible that it can be done. All right. So another reason why I took my time with making this video was because I wanted to give you guys a little confirmation bias first. If you followed my previous videos, then you probably have seen your collections come off, your late payments come off, your hard inquiries come off, your personal information is corrected. And the reason why I started with that first is because I knew that was easier to get done. I could show my kids how to do that kind of stuff. It's a very, very easy process once you understand how it works and once you know your rights. Now, when it comes to charge-offs, they are a little bit more difficult. And the thing is, you can't really tailor one person's credit report to someone else's. And of course, every bank is different. So when I provide you with these steps, you got to understand it's not going to be like you follow each step verbatim. Like everything's going to be exactly the same. You have to kind of tailor it to your situation. So everything that I say, just make sure that you take it with a grain of salt, because charge-offs and credit reports in this situation, they are not all the same. They're going to be different. So what works for one person may not work for you. Depends on your bank, depends on what's going on, depends on the situation of that charge-off. They're not going to all be the same. So again, I just wanted to make sure I prefaced that in the beginning, because this is going to be a little bit more of a challenge. But I've done it myself, and I've had 8 charge-offs. So if you only have 1 or 2 repossession, things like that, trust me, if I can get rid of 8, you can do it too. Getting rid of charge-offs, in my opinion, it really just depends on how much the person wants it. So I just want to start off by saying that. So what is a charge-off? A charge-off means a company has written off a debt because it does not believe it will receive the money that it's owed. You are responsible for paying debt that is charged off. Paying off or settling the overdue debt does not mean it will be removed from the charge-off status on the consumer's credit report. Instead, the status will likely be changed to charge-off paid or charge-off settled. And that's the reason why we focus on deleting the account. So you're still responsible for paying charge-offs once the account is charged off. All right. There are situations where this might change, and we are going to go through a few scenarios here. All right. There are scenarios where you may have a charged off account that becomes a collection. That's different. That's a situation of double jeopardy, where the account is transferred but isn't updated properly. That's another one of the easiest ways to get a charge off deleted. So today we're going to be talking about a few things. Factual disputes will be the main topic of conversation, but I will give you different scenarios because, again, not everyone's charge offs will be the same. They're all going to be different. It depends on your situation. So there are different types of charge-offs. There are high balance charge-offs. A high balance charge-off can be anything above $1,500. Those, depending on your situation, you may want to avoid disputing them. Sometimes they can be risky. The higher the balance, the more likely you are to be sued. Now, I want to make sure that when I give this information, I'm making sure to address everything as much as I possibly can. That's why I save charge-offs for last. You can be sued even if you don't get an account removed from your credit report. Keep that in mind. It's just that you're more likely to be sued when the account is over $1,500. That's a different video. Maybe in the future, I'll talk about what happens, but a lawsuit isn't as big of a deal as you think. You go to court, there's ways to deal with that. There's a lot of ways. But I just want to make sure that I do mention it. Low balance charge-offs, that's anything below $1,500. You can usually get these deleted by factual disputes. They're a lot easier, you know. Paid accounts, the account is paid or settled. Either you pay the full balance or you settle for a lower amount. Whatever the case may be, this account is legally validated already. Technically, when you paid it off, you said that it was a legal, valid account. So this is the account where you are going to do factual disputing, but if you're looking at this video and you looked at round 1 and round 2, for a paid account or settled balance, you can just jump to round 3. You don't have to do round 1 and round 2. The account's already validated, so you don't have to worry about that. A transferred account. A transferred account usually has a zero balance and it should indicate sold or transferred, right? You need to check your credit report and you need to see if it's reporting as a zero balance and it indicates sold or transferred. A lot of charge-offs can be deleted because, again, you'll see 2 accounts. One is a collection. The other is being held by the actual creditor, the original creditor. And some of us don't see that because we don't look at the right credit report. Usually in the past videos, I've told you to go to Experian, Identity IQ. But for this one, I'm going to recommend that you stick with annualcreditreport.com. You can get your free reports every week still. As of February 1st, 2024. And the reason why you need to go to annualcreditreport.com is because a lot of companies don't actually put the entire report on their website. You want to look online, and I'm going to give you specific examples of why you want to look online on annualcreditreport.com. I'm going to give you a few examples of why you want to make sure that you check that. All right. I am so sorry, guys. I'm not used to using a a slideshow, but this is like all the information I needed to make sure that I remember to address. So again, go to annualcreditreport.com. It has your real credit report with all the payment history and comments needed for factual disputes. So when we're doing factual disputes, we need as much information as possible. Information is ammunition. All right. If we want to make sure to get rid of these accounts, we need as much ammunition as possible. So we need to make sure that we get all the information that's on our reports. And a few of the ones online that we use, like Identity IQ, Credit Karma, even Experian, that's the one I normally use. I would say it's the most accurate, but I could give specific examples of where it's missing information. That's why you want to go to annualcreditreport.com. If you do nothing else, make sure that you get the information from there if you do nothing else. All right. A little bit more information before I get into this. So after a company charges off an account, sometimes they sell that account to a debt buyer. And that's different from a collection agency. So debt buyers usually only buy charged off accounts because it's easier to sue you since they get information directly from the original creditor. And you usually will see like Midland Funding, LVNB, portfolio recovery, things like that. And before I actually go any further, again, I apologize. Transfer charge off accounts, we just talked about those. Non-transferred just means that they're charged off accounts that are just the normal accounts that you would see, and you can dispute those the same way you would dispute high balance or low balance. They just haven't been transferred yet. And we know about going to annualcreditreport.com. All right. The reason why I brought up 1099-C form is because I figured a lot of people would have questions about this form because I've seen other people talk about it, but I don't think it's actually understood. So a 1099-C form, if you have taxable debt of $600 or more that's been canceled by a lender, the lender is required to file a form 1099-C with the IRS. The lender is also required to send you a copy of the 1099-C cancellation of debt form so you can use it when you file your annual taxes. If the debt on your 1099-C cancellation of debt form does not fall into one of the IRS's excluded categories, you might owe debt forgiveness tax. All right. To put it simply, A 1099-C form is a cancellation of debt as long as the debt is more than $600. Usually you get this when a creditor actually discharges the debt. And probably some people are wondering, like, okay, well, if I have a charge off, shouldn't I get a 1099-C form in the mail? Let's address that. So 1099-C requirements and mechanics. Generally, a creditor must file a form 1099-C if one, the debt is in the amount of $600 or more, so it has to be that or more, and it has been discharged. I think that's a big part that most people don't get, which I had to understand. A creditor can put on their books that your charge off is not going to be collected on, or they believe that it's no longer an asset to them, and they'll mark it as a charge off in their books. But that doesn't mean that they received a corresponding tax credit for it. They can put your account in a charge off status and never write it off, which means they don't have to give you a 1099-C. So, 2, the creditor of an applicable entity, and 3, an identifiable event has occurred. So a form 1099-C must be filed in the year following the calendar year in which the identifiable event had occurred. So January 31st to the debtor. That's the reason why I made this video after January 31st. On February 1st, which is today's date, you should have, if not received one, you should be receiving one soon. If the 1099-C form was actually given out, that means if the debt was actually discharged. All right. So January 31st to the debtor, which would be you or me. February 28th to the IRS if paper filed, and by March 31st to the IRS if e-filed. Finally, the only canceled or discharged debt that must be reported on a Form 1099-C is the principal amount of the debt owed. However, a creditor may report the interest and penalties forgiven if it so chooses. So just to summarize that, they can actually charge the interest separately to you and say that you still owe the interest, but the principal amount they can then put on the 1099-C. It's at the creditor's discretion. So what if the creditor didn't send me a 1099-C? A question I ask myself a lot too. The creditor may take time to write off the debt officially. You may not receive the form for a few years. So again, and this is why I didn't hyper focus on 1099-Cs, because the creditor may not have discharged the debt. They may have marked it as a charge off, but if they don't discharge it, write it off, right? The debt hasn't officially been written off per the IRS. So you may not get a 1099-C for years. And you can also ask a creditor to receive a 1099-C. But even if you ask them to receive it, they may say something like, we're not obligated to give you one, or we haven't discharged this debt yet, which means they're still holding on to it. They haven't written it off yet. They haven't sold it. They're just holding on to it. But later down the line, a few years later, if they so choose to get a credit for it, a tax credit, you may get a 1099-C years later. My recommendation, since we're right on we're at the beginning of February 1st, you should start calling to see if you'll actually get one if you haven't received it yet. So after the creditor writes off a debt, what is the deadline to file a 1099-C on my taxes? If a creditor writes off a debt and cancels or forgives the debt, they are required to send the debtor and the IRS a Form 1099-C cancellation of debt by January 31st of the year following the tax year, of the year following that tax year, in which the debt was canceled or forgiven. For example, if a debt were canceled or forgiven in 2022, the creditor would need to send the debtor and the IRS a Form 1099-C by January 31st, 2023. If the creditor fails to send Form 1099-C or sends an incorrect form, the debtor should contact the creditor to request a corrected form. If the creditor does not respond, the debtor should contact the IRS to report the issue. It's important for debtors to report all taxable canceled debt on their tax return in the year that the debt was canceled or forgiven. Failing to report canceled debt as taxable income can result in penalties and interest from the IRS. So again, the reason why I'm addressing this now is because a 1099-C is not something that you're entitled to or that you can ask for and expect to receive. The only way that you get this form is if the creditor discharged the debt. And the only way that you'll know that is if you receive one or if you contact them and you ask for one. And the reason why you want to contact and ask for one is because once the debt is canceled or forgiven, we can get it deleted from your credit report. And I would say 1099-Cs are probably one of the easier ways to get it done. You just can't always guarantee that you're going to get it, which is why it's not the thing that I rely on, but I'm going to talk about it just so that, you know, you're aware, or in case it's asked, we might as well just address it. But it's not the thing that I would rely on. When I removed all of my charge-offs, I never got one charge-off removed with a 1099-C. I didn't. Even though you definitely can, I didn't do it. But again, this is why it's like I waited to make this. There's so many different variables when it comes to charge-offs. They're all very different, and it depends on your situation. All right, so what is the statute of limitations on a 1099-C? Generally, there is no statute of limitation on a 1099-C. Simply meaning you can get a 1099-C this year, you could get it next year, you could get it in 3 years. They have up to 7 years to provide you with that. After 7 years, then they can't report the account generally, you know, for your state. It depends on your state. But after 7 years, for the most part, it's a wrap. The account's deleted. But anytime within that time frame, the creditor decides to discharge that debt, they'll send you one. So the creditor does not have to send you the form promptly so that you can include it on your tax return. I'm sorry, but the creditor does have to send you the form promptly so that you can include it on your tax returns. There is no rule about how long a creditor has to officially charge off your debt. So it could be years before you receive the form in the mail. There are exclusions to being sent a 1099-C, like bankruptcy, or if you settle the debt. So if you settle the debt and you pay it, they don't need to send you a 1099-C. If you file for bankruptcy, they don't need to send it. That debt has been discharged because you filed for bankruptcy. There's no need to cancel the debt if you file for bankruptcy or if you settle that debt. This is only for, and they actually can send it still if you settled it. But this is generally for when they have discharged or written off that debt. Okay, I wanted to get the 1099-C stuff out the way because I figured I'd have questions about it. But now we're going to get to the real reason why you came here. We're going to get to how to dispute a charge-off. So I broke it down into 4 parts. Step 1, we're going to send an investigation complaint. You never send a factual dispute to initially dispute a charge-off. Step 2, we're going to send a reinvestigation follow-up complaint. Step 3, we're going to use factual disputes. I like to use date of last activity. Usually that's one of the first attributes I would attempt. And in step 4, payment history or any other factual dispute that we can find. So really quick, let me just exit the slideshow for 1 second because I want to pull up here. You guys know I always use the Cornell Law School 15 U.S. Code 1681 procedure. I know you want this done fast. I know you guys want this done as soon as possible. But there are steps that we need to take because a charge-off account is much harder to get off than a collection. Much harder, but it can be done if you follow a procedure. So the reason why we first have to send a procedural investigation, our right as a consumer, we can ask the credit bureaus to dispute anything for any reason, just because we feel like it. Just because I want a dispute doesn't have to have a reason. I just want one. I'm entitled to one. That's my right. Okay. We need to have them do that. And we need to ask them, hey, credit bureaus, I'm looking at my account. This account doesn't look right. We don't ever talk about what's wrong. We just say it doesn't look right. Don't give them anything. Just say it doesn't look right. Unless, again, it's a paid account. If it's paid, then you can go right to the factual dispute. But if it's not paid or settled, we're going to look at that and we're going to say, hey, something's wrong. I'm going to give you a template about what to say, but what's wrong? I need to figure it out. Can you investigate? Reinvestigation comes next. We ask them to reinvestigate. I looked at it again. I disagree. This doesn't look right. Can you look at it again? We need them to verify twice and say 2 times, we looked at it and it looks good. And this is why we need it. Right here. We're going to scroll down. Right here to section 5. Treatment of inaccurate or unverifiable information. So if after any reinvestigation, if after any reinvestigation, under paragraph 1 of any information disputed by a consumer, an item of the information is found to be inaccurate or incomplete or cannot be verified, the consumer reporting agency shall promptly delete that item of information from the file of the consumer or modify that item of information as appropriate based on the results of the reinvestigation and promptly notify the furnisher that the information has been modified or deleted from the file of the consumer. So see, right here's the reason why we need to do those first 2 steps initially. We need to get them to confirm that they verified that that account was accurate. They did it twice. I asked you for a procedural investigation. I asked you to reinvestigate. Now I can go right into my my disputes, knowing that you told me everything was accurate. So I like to know why sometimes things have to be the way that they have to be so that it makes sense. All right. So that's why we have to do step 1 and step 2 first. And then we go into step 3 and step 4. Now, round 1 dispute. This is step 1. Remember, I said we're going to send an investigation complaint. And when we send it through the CFPB. At the very end, I'm going to go through that process. If not, I could probably put a link to a video that I have where I showed you guys how to file a CFPB complaint. If not, I'm going to do it in this video again for anybody new. So round 1 dispute, step 1, we send an investigation complaint through the CFPB. You can also send letters if you want. You just add your first name, last name, your social, your address, and then you can look up the address for the corresponding credit bureau. I personally have found that it was no different between me sending letters and me just going through the CFPB. And personally, for me, I noticed there was no different. If you want to send a letter, by all means, you can do both. I don't think that either one would be a problem. So, again, step 1, we never send factual disputes until after you've asked for a procedural reinvestigation, unless it's already paid or settled. At that point, you already admitted that the account was yours and it's verified. So this is an example of what you can say. Recently, I looked at a copy of my credit report and noticed several inaccuracies on my account. This account is hurting my ability to obtain credit. It is my understanding that you will investigate these items for me to ensure accuracy. Here is the item I am asking you to verify as accurate. You then put the account name and the number that's shown on the report. This is the first complaint round. Again, we don't put a reason. This is very general. It's very broad. We're just asking them, hey, I looked at it. I noticed several inaccuracies. What do you think? That's it. We're basically getting in position. You got to understand that the credit bureaus, they have laws to protect them with handling their disputes. We have laws for us. We just need to basically get them in position where we can get these accounts deleted quickly. So you guys can copy this. If you want to, you can copy it verbatim. I would try to, we have to change it up a little bit to put your account name and your information, but just something general. It shouldn't be very long. You don't have to put laws in there. Just make it very, very general. All right. This is going to be round 2, step 2. We're going to ask them for a reinvestigation. So we're going to say something along the lines of, I'm in disagreement with the account listed below, which still appears on my credit report. Even after your investigation, I would like this item to be immediately reinvestigated. The inaccuracies are highly injurious to my credit score. Sorry about that, guys. All right. And then you're going to put the name of the account, the account number shown on the report. And then here I have a little tidbit just so that they're aware that we do know our laws. In accordance with the Fair Credit Reporting Act, Law 91506, and then the title, the section, the subsection, please provide the names and business addresses of each individual with whom you verified above so that I may follow up. Please send an updated copy of my credit report after your reinvestigation. Now, some of you may actually notice that the accounts are starting to get deleted after step 2. Usually step 1, nothing happens. Step 2, we're not giving them any specific details yet. We're not talking about any factual disputes. Now we're just asking, hey, can you tell me who you verified this with? Can you give me the names of the individuals? Can you please make sure that you update a copy of my credit report after your reinvestigation? So now you may notice some things come off. You may not. If you do, good. If you don't, then we proceed to the next step. But this is really just getting them in position to basically say, oh, we verified it. This account was good. Okay, you verified it. Awesome. Now, before I show you round 3, I got to go over the most common charge-off inaccuracies. So one of the easiest ways to get stuff removed from your credit report is repeatedly reporting charge-off every month. And I'm going to give you guys an example. Every time your account updates, like if you look at it and it shows like where it shows the payment history, it shows charge-off, 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 charge-off. It's updating the statute of limitations. It's extending it. Every update to that account makes the account look newer than it is, and re-aging the account is illegal. They can't do that. I'm going to give you examples, but I just want to go over, these are the most common reasons you're going to get a charge-off deleted, and pretty much you're going to plug one of these reasons in after you look at your report, and you're going to put that in a round 3. So, not indicating when or if the account has been sold, misrepresentation of the account status. You're going to look at your account and you may have a card with Capital One. That account may have been sold to Portfolio Recovery. But when you look at your credit report, it's going to show Capital One with a balance, and then it's going to show a collection with that same balance. But it's not going to show on the Capital One credit card charge off that account had actually been sold. It needs to have that status on there. And this is why I'm telling you, you need to go to annualcreditreport.com and look at your report. You probably won't see this on Credit Karma. You probably won't see this on Identity IQ. You might see it on Experian, but I can tell you for TransUnion, you never get that information, even with Experian. So you want to make sure that you go to annualcreditreport.com and you want to get your report there because you'll be able to see all these inaccuracies. Not reflecting a zero balance after transferred, sold, or paid, that's double jeopardy. So if they transferred this Capital One account to recovery portfolio collection, that Capital One account should have a zero balance. If it doesn't, that's inaccurate. I can't have a balance on both of these accounts. Two different, the creditor and the collection agency can't both be trying to collect on this one account. You can't do that. That's an inaccuracy that can get a charge off deleted. It's actually one of the easiest ones. Reporting inconsistent balances across credit bureaus. I'm going to actually pull up Identity IQ because if you are familiar with the website, Identity IQ shows you all the balances and all the information from each credit bureau. It's not going to be as in-depth as annualcreditreport.com, but it'll be good as an example. All right. Date of first delinquency. That can illegally be changed. I've seen that a lot. It should reflect the month and year it was first delinquent, and then changes after 180 days charged off status. We can't have any changes. Once a charge off goes past 180 days, the account is dead. It's done. You can't have on-time payments. You can't add anything else to it. There should be nothing left on there. You can't do that. That's illegal. That's an inaccuracy. So I'm going to start showing you examples of what to look for so that when you go to annualcreditreport.com, I could promise, I won't make it guarantees, but I feel like I could almost guarantee that one of these you're going to find most definitely on a charge off. All right, so here's a factual dispute about repeated charge off. Remember what I said? Remember what I said about the account showing charge off multiple times? Look at this. This account, and I'm sorry, I'm trying to zoom in and it's going to the next page. I'm sorry about that, guys. This account says charge off. So this account was initially charged off, looks like February of 2022, 180 days past due. But yet, it's being reported every single month. They're updating this account. So look, let's go back. Repeatedly reporting charge off every month. Wow, there we go. Is that not what's going on here? That's inaccurate. They can't do that. That is an inaccuracy. And this is a screenshot pulled from annualcreditreport.com, which is why I'm telling you guys you want to pull from there. I'm going to pull this same account up on Identity IQ, and I'm going to make a comparison because I want to show you exactly what I'm talking about. So I was able to pull this same account up on Identity IQ. So check this out, guys. Check this out. Remember, we just talked about that every month after February 2022, that this account was charge off. Look at this. On Identity IQ, it says okay. That's not what we just saw, right? So if we go here, this is the exact same account with Merrick Bank. Look at this. After February, charge off. Right? On Identity IQ, it just says that the account is okay. See, we wouldn't get that information if we didn't get the annualcreditreport.com that report. Identity IQ didn't show that, which is why I keep stressing, make sure you get the report from annualcreditreport.com. All right, let's look for other inaccuracies. Let's look. Look at this one. The balance on TransUnion for this Merrick Bank account is 0. Look at that. The balance on Equifax is $914. Wasn't that one of our? Yeah, look, there we go. Reporting inconsistent balances across bureaus. Right there. There it is. It's reporting inconsistent balances across bureaus. That would be another one of our reasons that we can say that the account is inaccurate. Okay. What else can we come up with? Oh, date of last activity. So check this out. This account shows that September 1st, 2021 was the date of last activity. Well, let's double check that. The date of last activity would basically be the date that the account first went into a delinquent status. So it would be the first day that we got a 30-day past due notice. So September 21st. We already see here it says June 22nd, 2021. That's an inaccuracy right there. The day of last activity cannot be June 22nd, 2021. Or, I mean, it can't be both that and September. So let's go back and let's take a look. Look at this, guys. 2 inaccuracies. It shows right here that August 2021 was paid on time. There isn't even a 30-day past due. It's paid on time. How did it go right into 60 days in September? It was paid on time. That's an inaccuracy. And the first day of delinquency would technically not be it wouldn't be September. It would have to be August. So even when we're looking at this should be August. This should be August. These are both wrong. So date of last activity is wrong. The balance is completely wrong. The repeated charge-offs are completely wrong. We already have 3 different reasons that we can dispute. Let's see if we have any more. Date of first delinquency, we have that. Reporting inconsistent balances, we have that. And then repeated. So we already have 3 different things that we can dispute, right? All right. So you would pull up your credit report from annualcreditreport.com. You would look at your charged off account and you would look at one of these common reasons. Of course, after you ask them to investigate, reinvestigate, they tell you it's all good. And then we hit them with this one right here. So I'm going to give you an example of what to say for repeated charge off, because you'll probably see this one a lot. All right, so this is the round 3, disputing factual information. So this account was charged off on the following date. So remember the charge off date that we had, it was September 2021, right? Since then, the account has repeatedly been updated as charged off every month. This is an update in the payment history. A charged off account should not include an active payment history. This inaccurate information falsely manipulates the statute of limitations. You failed to investigate this account properly, and your neglect has violated my rights. I am demanding a deletion of the following account. And then you would put your account name, your account number. You would want to send a copy of your driver's license. I always send a copy of my social security card and proof of address. I recommend that you do the same. So factual disputes, if you saw this example, the dispute should be no longer than 3 sentences. Just identify what the account is, explain what's wrong, and the desired outcome. So, I mean, that's simply what we're going to do. We're just going to identify the account, explain what's wrong and what we want. Because you have to understand, we already asked them twice to do their job. Now we use the law. Look, I asked you twice to do something. I followed the process of reinvestigation. You didn't do it. And now that you didn't do it, I'm going to tell you what's wrong. Now, keep in mind, the credit bureaus have the option of either doing 1, updating the account, or 2, they can delete it. So they do have the option to update. So here's the thing. What happens when we get to round 4 and they decide that they just want to update the account? We pick a different reason. So for this example, I just showed if there was a double jeopardy, right? So if there were 2 accounts that, because this is probably the next most common reason. I don't have an example of it to show you, but let's say that this account with Merrick Bank had a charge off with a zero balance for TransUnion and for Equifax, but now I have a collection account of the same amount, I would send this. So the following accounts are claiming to both own the same debt with a balance. As you know, this is not possible and also a violation of my rights. Because of this, both accounts need to be removed from my credit report immediately due to not properly validating the information in which a company has passed to you. Please delete immediately. When the requested above deletions are made, please mail me an updated copy of my credit report. You list account 1 and you list account 2. So in my experience, going back to our most common charge-off inaccuracies, it's usually going to be one of these. And again, the credit bureaus don't necessarily have to delete it. They can update it. But what happens is when you start with one inaccuracy and then you mention another inaccuracy and then you mention another inaccuracy, you may get to like round 5. And by then they're going to delete it because you have to keep reminding them that they're neglecting to do their job, and you can point it out. You have to stay on top of it. Before I show you how to submit this with the CFPB, a couple other things I want to actually go over. First thing, you don't have to wait 30 days in order to respond back to the credit bureaus. Here's the problem. If you wait 30 days and they already responded to you, it's going to start this process over again, and you'll have to start with round 1. So I'm going to tell you what I do. And this is something where, again, like it isn't like a process where it's not a process where it's like clean cut. It's different for everybody, right? But what I do is I get alerts from, I have the Experian app on my phone. I have Credit Karma on my phone for TransUnion to get updates with that. And then I also have an Equifax account. Credit Karma is free. The Equifax account is free. TransUnion is free unless you want all 3 credit bureaus. If you sign up for TransUnion, whenever you have a dispute, they'll tell you when they responded and when that dispute gets closed. When you are disputing with the CFPB, they won't tell you. The CFPB complaint can be open for 60 days. So they'll take their time to close it so that you have to start from round 1. So I'm going to give you an example. If I were disputing this account with Merrick Bank right now, in about probably a week or 10 days, TransUnion Equifax will come back and say, oh, it's verified. You know how I know? I get an alert on Credit Karma for TransUnion, or I can go to Equifax.com and I can see there that they're going to close the dispute. Just sign up for an account. If you want, I have another link where you can sign up to get your free FICO 8 scores. If you follow that video, it shows you the exact same steps of how to create the account so that you have it and they're free. I get an alert within 5, 6, 7 days showing the complaint is closed. It won't show it on the CFPB, but it'll show it there. So if in 10 days, let's say that was round 1, and they say, yo, it's verified, Steven, we made sure, it's all good. I go right to the CFPB, and what do? I go right to round 2, and I say, I'm in disagreement. They say, okay, you see a new dispute start. You can go into the Equifax website. You'll see the dispute. You can go into Experian. Experian will literally send you an alert when that new dispute is active again, and then when it's closed. And then you could do the same thing with Credit Karma for TransUnion. And they'll actually show you an update and update you when a dispute has been closed. But you have to keep up with that. You have to, and I think TransUnion's the hardest one. They're the hardest one. They make it hard on purpose. Like they purposely make it very hard to tell if a dispute has been closed or not. So you got to stay on top of it. So you can actually get through 4 rounds within a month and a half, realistically. Round 1, investigation. Round 2, reinvestigation. Round 3, here's my actual facts that I'm disputing with. Let's say that they come back and they say, oh, we updated the account. It's either going to be updated or deleted at that point. They can't verify it, but I mean, if it's actual information where it's not accurate, they'll probably either update it or delete it. Then you come back with your second one, or your second reason. This is like round 4, right? You can do this like every time they respond. You have to pay attention to it, but you can do it every time they respond. It's easy. You just keep doing it until you get like probably like around some of this stuff will come off on round 2, some will come off on round 3, 4, 5, and then you just keep going with all of your reasons. And that's why you can't just say that the account is fraud. Why? Because charge-offs are always with the original creditor. They have all the information. They can verify it. They have it. So you can't just say that simply. That's not going to work. It may work sometimes, but doesn't always work. You can't just say that. You can't say that this account isn't mine. They can verify it, which is why for charge-offs, we have to go through this lengthy process. Now, in my opinion, doing it through the CFPB, making sure that you respond and not letting them wait you out to have to restart the process, respond within 15 days, you're going to see results a lot faster. And this is the method that I actually acquired from different people, from my own findings that I've had the most success with. Now, it didn't all happen at one time because a lot of the time I spent learning this stuff. But for you, I'm giving you all the information up front. So now, again, this is one example, but your account could look totally different. And I didn't hit every single reason why, but you're going to have to interpret that reason for yourself. If you have an account and you notice, oh, that's double jeopardy, oh, that's repeated, oh, that's something. If you just show them 2 different credit bureaus, Equifax and TransUnion, and there's inconsistencies between those 2, you can have them look at two reports and you can say, hey, if this report is coming from the same data furnisher as this report and they're not exactly the same, they're inaccurate. So that's why I'm like, you have to interpret it. You have to go actively look out and find out what's wrong. There is no general one letter, one thing that can just solve this issue. Okay. Again, that's the reason why I took so long to make this video, because it's not a one size fits all like the rest of them. It's literally tailor made to you and your profile. The next thing I'm going to show you before we end this video, I want to show you how to process this, or how I do it through the CFPB website. All right, so you're going to go to CFPB, and you can Google this, or consumerfinance.gov. And as you guys know, if you don't have an account, you have to create one. But we're going to start by going to submit a complaint. Click on that, scroll down, and start new complaint. All right, so if you don't have an account, sign up for an account, verify your email. Okay, once you're logged in, you're going to go to start new complaint. We're going to click on that. We're going to go to improper use of credit report, and reporting company used your credit report improperly. And have you already tried to fix this problem with the company? Always yes. Did you request information from the company? Yes. Did the company provide this information? No. And we're going to go next. So what happened? Again, guys, from the letter or from the example that I gave you, we could enter round 1 information. We could enter round 2 information. Let's go and let me do one of the round 3s. Let's do the charge off account. All right, cool. So you're going to go here and you're going to put in your information. This account was charged off on the following date. Since then, I have been repeatedly, exactly what we went over. So you're going to put what happened, what account it involves, the inaccuracy, and what you want done. And then you're just going to put the same information here, but here you can add. I am demanding a deletion of the following account name, account number, same information here. You could just copy this part because that's the outcome that you're looking for. And then you attach your documents. Remember I said you would attach your ID, your driver's license. I would attach your social security card. I would attach a proof of residence, so like a utility bill or something of that nature. And then a screenshot of the inaccuracy. And if you requested a report from annualcreditreport.com and they mailed you one, because again, sometimes TransUnion does this where they won't allow you to get the report, you can have it mailed to you. And then you can take a picture of it and then add that here showing what the problem is. And this is going to be like, this is for a factual dispute, what I'm showing you now. But prior to this, you'll do a round one, you'll do a round two. And then you're going to enter the company's name. We're looking at Experian. And you could do Experian Credit Reporting Agency. You're going to enter all this information just like we have done before. You're going to enter your date of birth, your name as it appears on your credit report, however that appears, whether it's first name, middle name, last name, or first name and last name. Did you want to complain about another company? If you want, you can actually just go ahead and just throw that on here. You can add TransUnion. Now remember, you only want to complain about the company that actually has the account. So if the account doesn't report to Experian, but it reports to TransUnion and Equifax, just do TransUnion and Equifax. If the company just reports one credit bureau, just do one. Yes, I already tried to fix the problem. Did you request information? Yes. Did the company provide the information? No. And then you're going to enter again. This is all the same information. If you've watched any prior videos, we've done this step before, but anybody new, we're going to do this for you guys because you may not know. And then do you want to complain about another company? Yes. I want to complain about, I did Experian, TransUnion. I want to complain about Equifax. Let's see. Equifax Information Services. All right. Have you already tried to fix the problem? Yes, we have. Did you request information from the company? Yes, I did. Did the company provide the information? No, they did not. And then same thing, so on and so forth. So when you're done, you should have all the credit bureaus here that you are trying to dispute that charge off with. Then we're going to hit next and go to the next page. You're always going to click myself. There are actually, I never mentioned this, but there are actually laws out there that when you have someone else file a complaint or dispute on your behalf, the credit bureaus have the right to throw that out as frivolous. So that's one of the stall tactics that they use. So whenever you're doing this, you always fill it out as myself. And just so you know, when you're disputing these things, the reason why we always do one reason at a time and we don't list them all at one time is because you can only dispute an account for the same reason one time. So if you go, charge off repeatedly, and let's say now the credit bureaus update the information so it's accurate, and then you go, oh yeah, but my date of last status is not right, and they update that information. You can't go back and then try to use the same one again, even if they didn't update it. It's going to be seen as frivolous. So you'll want to use one at a time until eventually they delete it. And from my experience, eventually they do. You have to be patient. You have to be diligent. And again, when you file the CFPB report, the CFPB report will not update as fast as the credit bureaus respond. They will they'll let the complaint stay open even though it's already been completed. So you're gonna have to make sure to check with Experian, get the notifications. They'll tell you once they're done disputing. With Equifax, they'll tell you when they're done. They always do. And then with TransUnion, which is I think the hardest one, TransUnion won't always say when they're done. You have to just kind of check up on them. Credit Karma can sometimes be good for that, because what'll happen is the account will update and it'll say like consumer dispute resolved. Sometimes they don't even update that, which is a violation, but it's like very low on the totem pole. It doesn't always work if you dispute that reason, like they didn't update the comment and said that this account is no longer in dispute. It happens though. But you'll want to make sure to watch that, because again, if they respond within 7 days, in 7 days, you could send the next round the same day. And so this doesn't have to take you 4 or 5 months. This could take you 4 or 5 weeks, less than that. It just depends on how fast they respond. So just bear that in mind. So who are you submitting this complaint for? You always choose myself. Now, once I click this, it's going to show some personal information. So like always, I'm going to click it and then I'm going to cut to the next step. All right. So once you get all the way down to the bottom, you're just going to hit the review option in step 5. So we're going to click on review. And then once you hit the review option, you're gonna review the complaint, make sure all the information is good, you haven't missed anything. And I'm just gonna scroll to the bottom here. All right, so I cut to the bottom. You're gonna hit the I authorized and the information given is true, and then you're gonna submit the complaint. Now I won't submit this complaint because this is just an example. But yeah, those are the steps that I took to remove all charge-offs from my account. For this video, guys, if it seemed convoluted, if it wasn't really comprehensive, I apologize. I'm so sorry. I tried to organize it the best I can, because when it comes to charge-offs, it's so much information that there is in order to get rid of it. It's not really like one thing that you could do like all the other videos that I've made. So for this one, again, if it's very convoluted, I'm sorry. I recommend just going back and rewinding it if you want to take notes, and then maybe Google some of the stuff that I was saying, just to maybe get a clear depiction of what I was trying to get at. Watch some other videos in conjunction with this video, and then, come to your own conclusion to see what it is that you could do. These are all just strategies, and these are methods, and we're just sharing information. If you have more information, put it in the comments. If you've done some of this and it has worked for you, please, I would love to put that in the comments. If you want any other videos in regards to credit, please put it in the comments too and let me know. I'm getting to the end of credit repair. I may have like maybe 4 other videos in me left in regards to repairing credit, and then I'm going to be moving on to something else. For this channel, credit repair, I feel like, is the foundation of a lot of the things that I'm going to discuss, but it isn't the only thing that I'm going to have on this channel. I'm going to probably show you how to make money online. I do a lot of stuff to make money online. Currently, I'm self-employed. I make money on my own, so I could show you how to do that. I want to talk about investing, stocks, things of that nature. So, we're going to be moving on here, but I do know that before you do anything, Welcome back to Success with Steven. My name is Steven Smith. On this channel, we discuss all things financial literacy. And today we're going to be discussing a brand new method to remove hard inquiries from your credit report. We're also going to be discussing how to remove collections. Now, I want to give a few disclosures before we begin the video. If you are new to my channel and you've never seen any of my videos, please stay for at least the first 2 or 3 minutes. And then after that, you can click on the timestamp and jump right into it. First disclosure that I want to make: I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. I'm giving you the steps of how I was able to remove hard inquiries and collections from my credit report. These videos will also be separated. I'm just doing one introduction because I don't want to have to repeat myself. So there's going to be one video that's going to be about hard inquiries. You'll see the same introduction that's going to be on the collection video. So I'm just going to take this intro, copy it, and then the instructions will begin whenever the video cuts off and goes into the steps. Now, with that being said, if you are trying to remove a hard inquiry, you do not want to remove a hard inquiry from an account that you currently have. An active account that you would like to keep, do not remove the hard inquiry. You can remove the hard inquiry for things like opening bank accounts. If there's nothing attached to the hard inquiry that's on your credit report, you can remove it. If you were denied for something, you can remove it. You can also remove these for business credit cards. Those don't show up on your credit report. So in those types of situations, it is okay for you to remove the hard inquiry. Any situation where there is an account that is positive that you want to keep, that is reporting to your credit, you need to leave that hard inquiry alone. Leave that hard inquiry on your credit report, because sometimes when you remove them, it affects the reporting, and then all of a sudden that account will be gone. So with that being said, please listen to those instructions. If you leave a comment in the video saying that you didn't get that or asking that question, I'm just going to refer you to watch the introduction. Secondly, I am not a credit repair specialist. You cannot pay me to do anything with your credit. You cannot, email me on the side and try to. I will never do it. No matter how many times you ask, I will not do it. I'm not a credit repair specialist. This is not a credit repair channel. I discuss all things financial literacy. I discuss my finance journey. I give you tips and tricks, sometimes advice, sometimes information on the psychology of money. Sometimes it's spirituality, whatever I'm feeling. That's what I make on this channel. I am not a credit repair specialist. I'm not trying to be one. I don't want to be one in any capacity. So please don't confuse me, for one. And secondly, don't try to email me or send or leave a comment asking me to do anything for you. I will never do it. Okay. And then final disclosure with this too, I'm no longer going to be making any additional credit repair content after I update this content. So you're going to get an updated version of collections. You're going to get an updated version of hard inquiry removal. You'll get an updated version of some of the charge-offs. If not, I may do them all. After I make the updated version, I will not be doing anything credit related other than that. Only reason why I've ever did this is because if you talk about financial literacy or finances, credit plays a huge part. Of course, a lot of people have problems with credit. So naturally, if you want to get to that next step, you have to take care of it. It's just a prerequisite of all the other conversations. Somehow the prerequisite, the thing to just get you started, became what you thought this whole thing was about. It's not. I just want to make that very clear as possible, which is why I stepped away from doing any credit type videos for so long, was because I did not want this to be confused. All right. This is not a credit repair channel. It's not about credit repair. I'm glad that it works for you. I'm glad the methods work. I know that other people's methods don't work usually, because I've watched videos trying to do the same thing. My experience was not the greatest when I tried to find information on YouTube, which is why I put it out to help you. It's free information. You don't need to pay anybody. You can do it yourself. If you don't want to do it yourself, then that has to do with you. That's a personal, no one's too busy for me. And when it comes to credit, if you're too busy or you just don't feel like doing it, that is a personal thing. You have to deal with that on your own. You have to do that for yourself. And if you don't want to do it, watch my credit builder videos to learn how to build a credit score. It takes only 7 years and everything will fall off anyway. So if you don't feel like doing it, then you're going to have to wait till the negative information falls off. In the meantime, build some positive payment history, build some account history, and you will be in good shape whenever the information falls off. All right. Now, this only took me about 5 minutes. So everyone should have been able to stay for 5 minutes to at least get this information so you can get stuff off of your credit. I hope you were able to at least wait 5 minutes. At this point, if you are someone new who's never watched any of my content, you can now just jump to the timestamp of the instructions. You don't have to stay for the rest. When it comes to the people who have been in my audience for a majority of this time, if you're a subscriber of this channel, you watch my content, you might want to stick around. We made this because the CFPB, of course, is going through something right now. Like I said in my previous video, it is a political matter. This is not a political platform, so I won't be doing that type of commentary on this channel. That was a decision that I made. However, I did notice at the time of recording this video, it is February 23rd, 2025, that a lot of people, not just me, have actually been able to confirm the CFPB is still taking in investigations. They've even called, like myself, and confirmed that they're still open. So right now, as we are going through all of these changes, the CFPB methods all still work as far as I know. But just in case they don't, that is the reason why I am creating these alternatives. And again, the only reason I'm doing it is because I started with credit to, again, the prerequisite of everything has to be credit. So I started with that. It became the backbone of this channel. And this is just me doing a favor to the people who started watching this information in the beginning. This is a favor to you guys. If I didn't feel like I at least owed making one more method to you, I would not be doing this. Really, I don't owe you anything. I want to correct that. But I feel an obligation to try and help old subscribers who may be doing this. Some people even took my methods and made an entire business off of it, and they're making money. That's fine. I don't really care. The point is that I'm going to do this one more time, and I won't be doing it again. I just wanted to make sure that I had this. Like I said in my video with the CFPB suing Experian, when that happened and people were making videos about there's a loophole to do all this other stuff. Like I told you guys, all my methods come from your consumer law. It comes from the FCRA. If you want to know how to do anything, watch those videos. So even after I update these methods, you can figure it out for yourself. You can do it yourself. If you apply the information that's there in the law to all of these methods, and you can create as many as you want. There's not one way to do this, guys. There's multiple ways. I actually found a few different ways to do this. So in the end, again, this is the last one from me. And then after that, you guys have to figure it out for yourself. If anything changes in the future between the CFPB method, between this method, then you guys will have to go from there and figure it out. I'm not trying to clickbait you. I'm not trying to just get a bunch of views. I'm not trying to rage or put fear into you with all of these other things that I see. This is just helpful information, and this is a documentation of my journey as I go through changes with finance. So I just wanted to make that declaration because I really want you guys to understand. Grateful for the platform, not a credit repair channel. If I stop talking about credit and no one wants to watch, that's fine with me too. I'll go do something else or make a new platform about something that I care about. But I don't want to talk about it really that much anymore. And I don't want that to be the main focus of what I'm doing because, again, very insignificant in the grand scheme of what I'm trying to do. All right. If you did stay, it's been another about almost 5 minutes. That's what I wanted to just give to my actual subscribers, the people who have been here from the beginning, the people who have seen all the content and actually care about my opinion. For the people who didn't care and they left after the first 5 minutes, that's cool. I get it. I watch YouTube videos too, and I'm just like, guy, get to the point. I don't care about you, your life. I don't care about anything else. I just want to know this piece of information. I want you to solve my problem. I completely understand that. I feel the same way. But, with that being said, understand that I'm a person and I'm not obligated to actually do any of this stuff. It's just free information that I want to provide in order to help people and level a uneven playing field ultimately. All right, so let's actually get into this step-by-step process. Now, before we can actually remove any of these collection accounts, the first thing you need to do is go to annualcreditreport.com. This is the only source of your free credit report that's authorized by the federal government. So the information that's provided from annualcreditreport.com will be the most accurate information that you can possibly get. This will not show your FICO score. It will not show your Vantage score. It will only show the report, which is what we need. Now, for the example that we're going to be using, I have a report from Equifax that's going to have a collection account. You want to download all three to make sure all three collections are actually reporting to the same bureau. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they also report different names. Sometimes they have different account numbers. So you will need to review each and every single one because you want to make sure that the information is the same. If the name or the account number is different, you will need to create 3 different affidavits. I want to repeat that. If the account number, account name is different, you will need to create 3 different affidavits. All right. So let's move on to the next step. Now, here is a collection account that we're going to be using as an example. It's with Spring Oaks Capital LLC. Again, this will look different for Equifax. It will look different for Experian. It will look different for TransUnion. But there's only a few pieces of information that are vital for you to remove this accurately. The first thing that you'll need is the account name. Once again, the account name can change. If the account name is the same on TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax, perfect. You'll only need to create 1 affidavit. If it's different on, let's say, just TransUnion, but the same on Experian and Equifax, then you'll need to create 2 different affidavits in that situation. If it's only reporting to 2 bureaus, then you just need to dispute this with 2 bureaus. So make sure that you are reviewing your credit report before you do this. So this is the name of the account that we're going to be looking at. It is Spring Oaks Capital. So we're going to need this information. My recommendation is taking this information and copying it, because you will need it later on. The next thing that you're going to need is the account number. The account number is XXXXX8806. The full account number is the X's. There's no need to try to look for those actual numbers. The number with the X's is the full account number. I've been asked that several times, and I'm going to repeat it one more time. I know it probably seems annoying, but you don't understand that people really don't watch this all the way through. They just jump from section to section and don't actually get the information. This number right here with the X's is your full account number. You need to add all of the X's plus this all at the same time. That is your full account number. All right. Now, the balance that you see here is going to also be some information that you need. If you have a higher balance, like right here, it says high credit, you're going to put whatever the highest balance is. All right. So you want the highest balance. You want the account number. You want the name of the account. And then you also want, let's scroll over. You also want the date open and the date reported. So this account was opened on September 29th, 2022. And it was reported February 22nd, 2025. So we need all this information. We need the date opened, and then we also need the account number and the account name. So write down all this information, put it in your notes, put it in a Google Keep. We will need to refer back to this in a second. All right, for the next step, we are going to go to identitytheft.gov, and then you are going to click on Get Started. Then you're going to click on I want to report identity theft. You will then click on credit card account. I don't care if you're disputing a collection or whatever the account is, as long as it's a collection, always pick credit card account. You do not have to choose any other option. Every time, just follow the exact same steps. Do not change anything. Click on credit card accounts. If it's a collection with Verizon, if it's a collection with, I don't care what it is, click on credit card accounts, and then we're going to click continue. Right here, we're going to select to open a fraudulent credit card account. Once again, it doesn't matter what type of collection that it is. This is the option that we select, and then you hit continue. And then we're going to hit continue right here as well. All right, so the next thing that we're going to do is enter the name of the company. I just copied it and pasted. You can do the exact same thing. If you have a note right now, then you can just copy the note and paste the information here. This is where the name of your collection is going to go. And you want to put the name exactly as it's shown on your credit report. This is why I kept saying, if you go to TransUnion and it's different, if you go to Experian and it's different, if you go to Equifax and it's different, then you need to make 3 different affidavits. Now, does that always make a difference? Sometimes it doesn't, but I've seen sometimes it does. So just why don't we err on the side of caution and just make sure that we're doing it exactly as we should and not try to take a shortcut? This is already an easy method. Taking a few more steps isn't that big of a deal. So now, when did you first notice the problem? You want to just put whatever month that you are currently in. If you're in February of 2025, then you'll just put that. When you first noticed the problem will be whatever the current month and year that you are in. So we already know the account was opened September of 2022. And what is the estimated amount? Well, now we're going to put the estimated amount that we saw before. And for this account, it was $1,160. Then the last thing we're going to enter is the account number. You can copy and paste this information. The account number was XXXXX. It was 5 X's, 8806. This is the full account number. If it has the X's in it, that is the full account number. And again, the only reason why I'm repeating this is because I've done this before and people will still ask me, what's my full account number? Even when I say that number that has the X's is your full account number. That is all that you need. I've said it before, so I'm just going to repeat it now so that you understand clearly. All right. Now, if you contacted the company, what's the name of the representative that you spoke with? Of course, we don't have that information, so we're not going to use that. Company's phone number, we don't need that. Company's email, we don't need that. Now you can click add another fraudulent account to credit card report. Now this account is right here. If you wanted to continue adding multiple collections, you would then add the name of the account. You would then add the date that you noticed the problem, which is the same month in the same year that you're currently in whenever you're watching this video. And then you're going to add the date the account was opened, which you're going to get from your report. And then you're going to add the amount that it says the collection is with the account number. You are going to continuously repeat this process. Now, as far as I know, you can add up to 5 accounts on one affidavit. So just add 5 and then we'll continue to the next step. And if you have more than that, of course, you'll have to create a second affidavit. Once again, as well, you also want to make sure that if this account is reporting to only 1 or 2 or 3 bureaus, that you're aware of that and you're not sending this to all 3. All right, let's hit continue. Next, you're going to fill out your information in number 2. That's going to be your first name, your last name, your primary phone number, and then you're going to enter your email address. You're going to confirm that, your date of birth, your current mailing address, how long you've lived at this address. Then you're going to select, has the victim's legal name or address changed since the theft occurred? Just select no. And then you're also going to enter no for your military service. If you are in the military and you want to add that detail, then you can, but it's not necessary. Now, the one thing I want to scroll back up and mention, because it does get asked a lot in like the previous video, I'm going to make sure that you understand this. If you submit multiple affidavits, especially in the same day, sometimes it will not verify this code that you're going to get. So you're supposed to enter your phone number. It's going to, you select mobile, it's going to text you a code. Sometimes when you put the same number in several times in the same day or a short amount of time, you will not be able to receive a code. If that happens, clear the cache on your browser, clear the history on your browser. Try to use an alternative browser. This is Safari. I can try Chrome. If that, if all else fails, go to Google Voice, get a Google Voice number and use that number to send the code to. All right. That's all the steps that will solve the problem. You can also try using a incognito window or a private window to see if you can make that work. Any of these options will resolve the issue. Okay, so if you have that problem, please follow those steps. Now, I just got the text message. I entered the confirmation code. As you can see, there's a check. That means that it's good. This is a Google Voice number that I used. Instead of using my real number, I will enter my email address, confirm it, and then continue on to the next step. All right, now we're on step 3, suspect information. Do you know anything about the person who stole your identity? No, not at this time. And then you're going to click continue. Now, have you reviewed a copy of your credit report? Yes. Was there any fraudulent accounts included on your credit report? Yes. Was any personal information wrong on your credit report? Now, this is just for collection, so we're going to say none of the above, because none of the information we should be worried about at this time. This is for inquiries. We're going to skip that. Have you requested a fraud alert? No. Have you contacted your local police department? No. Was your personal information exposed in a data breach? No. Now, you could select yes, but it's not going to make a difference whatsoever with the outcome of what happens here. So you can select yes if you want to, but I'm just going to select no. And has a debt collector tried to contact you about an account that isn't yours? The answer is no, and I will click continue here. Now, this next section here is the personal statement section. Number 5, you're going to put something along these lines. I recently reviewed a copy of my credit report and I was shocked to find I had been a victim of identity theft. I do not recognize this account. Please remove this from my credit report. They or this is hurting my ability to obtain credit. So if you have multiple, then plural, of course, they or this if it's singular. But you're going to do this exact same thing separately for TransUnion, for Equifax, and Experian, depending on what's on there. So you're going to be doing this probably at least 3 times because the information more than likely will be different. So you're going to have to do this 3 times, submit 1 for Experian, 1 for Equifax, 1 for TransUnion. All right. So something along this line is what you're going to state, and then you're going to hit continue. Now, once that's done, you should have your name, last name, your address, your phone number, your email address. It should show the account name, the account number right here, and then it should say, yes, this account is fraudulent, and it appears on my credit report. And then you'll have the date that we're doing this. You're going to scroll down. You're going to check this box, and then you're going to finalize. And then you are not going to create an account. If you create an account, you will not be able to make new affidavits in the future, at least not with the email that you used. All right. So I repeat, do not create an account. So no thanks. Submit without an account. Submit without an account and hit continue. And once this is done, we can download the report here. I'm using a Mac. For me, when I go to download the report, it brings up this page, which is usually my print page. But if you go to PDF here, then you can click Save as PDF. And then I'm going to click Save, and then it saves this to my desktop because we will need this for the next step to submit. So if you followed all the steps here, repeat them for TransUnion, Equifax, Experian, because if you have collections and they're reporting to all 3 bureaus, you should just do 3 separate ones because I'm sure that the account number or name will end up being different or something will be slightly off. Usually it is. So just get the idea wrapped around your mind unless you only have a collection on one bureau. But once you have all of them collected, collect all your affidavits, and then we're going to move on to the next step. Now, just like the hard inquiry video, this is where our method will change. You are now going to go to the BBB, the Better Business Bureau. We're going to click on that here. And once that is done, we are going to go to file a complaint. We are going to, now, because I did this recently, as you can see, continue existing complaint. That's what happens with the BBB if you submit multiple. So we're going to hit cancel, right? And then we're going to say, I'd like to file a complaint against a business and have the BBB help me with a resolution to my problem, and then file a complaint. I'm actually glad that that came up because the alternative to that, if that ever comes up, you can just open up a new browser, clear cache, same thing. It'll work here, but let's type in Equifax. Now, once you typed in Equifax, you're going to scroll down, and then we're going to look for the P.O. Box 740256, Atlanta, Georgia. Now, if you don't know the P.O. Box to dispute with Equifax or TransUnion or Experian, a quick Google search will show you. On my hard inquiry video, I show the one for Experian. For this example, I'm showing the one for Equifax. But again, you can just go on your phone right now and Google Credit Bureau, the name, dispute, P.O. Box. It'll come up and you'll know which one. So for this one, we are going to select the one from Atlanta, and then we're going to move to the next step. Now, is this complaint solely about buyer's remorse? It is not, so we're not going to select that. It's going to be no to all the above questions. Now, is this an employee complaint? No. Does this complaint seek criminal penalty? No. Has this complaint been filed in court? No. Are you a business attempting to collect money? The answer is no. So we're going to click continue after we said no to everything. Now you're going to enter your first name, your last name, your email address, the phone number that we're using for this dispute, and then you're going to enter your address. I want to make something very, very clear. For the Better Business Bureau, in a couple of hours after you send your complaint, they will send you an email, and they're going to ask you to basically confirm. They want you to actually confirm that you were the person that submitted this complaint. I'm going to show you the example from my email, what that looked like when I did the hard inquiry. I haven't done one for collections, but I want you to see what that's going to appear as, just so that you know. But you need to have your email. That is crucial, an email where you can be reached. All right. So type in all that information, including your email, and then we'll move on to the next step. Now, I want to give another disclosure right here. This says, please do not include any personally identifiable information, including credit card numbers or your social security numbers, when you tell us about your problem. BBB may edit your complaint to protect your privacy rights for yourself and others. Now, you're not going to type in any personal information in this section, but you will be adding a copy of that affidavit, including your driver's license, including your proof of address, and including a picture of your social security card. If you do not, they will respond and say that they cannot verify your identity, and they will throw out your dispute, and you'll have to repeat the whole process. So that is my recommendation. Did this issue occur within the last 12 months? You can just say yes, because that's going to be when you noticed it. Does your complaint involve a health issue or healthcare provider? The answer is no. Now, in the tell us about your problem section, you will want to just put the exact same information that was included on the affidavit. I already copied it, so I'm just going to paste it here. I recently reviewed a copy of my credit report and have found that, et cetera, et cetera. You can also add the account right here. Like in this case, you would just add Springs Oak LLC and then the account number. I recommend adding that information there. And then you want to enter the amount of the collection that you had. Once that's all done, we're going to go here and we're trying to correct a credit report. So that's the desired resolution. And then make sure that you review all the information. I think this was the amount, but this is a demonstration, so I'm not going to actually submit this, but you need to make sure that all the information is correct, that you put the account here, the account number, and everything is good. You entered the correct amount, and then you want to make sure that for the desired settlement, a correction to a credit report, and then you're going to upload, once again, a copy of your driver's license with an address that should be the same as our complaint, I hope. Then you're going to add your proof of address, as well as the affidavit, and then your social security card, a picture of that. Once that's done, you're going to hit continue, and then you're going to submit. You're going to get an email confirming that you've submitted this to the BBB. Once that's done, a couple of hours later, you are going to get an email asking you to confirm this complaint. I'm going to show you what that's going to look like. Now, in a couple of hours, you are going to get an email like this, okay? And it's going to have a link and it's going to have a code. You're going to copy this code and you're going to click on this link. Now, this is a BBB response portal. This is how they will contact you for communication. You only have to actually do this, and then the next confirmations that they give you will be to confirm that you responded. And the last one will be to confirm that the account was removed. All right. They're going to say, before the BBB can assist you, we ask that you provide us with the following: written confirmation that you authorized the submission of this complaint and that you are requesting assistance from BBB, and a detailed description of your own particular concerns. Now, you already sent your original correspondence. They already have that here. Now, the next thing that you are going to do is there's going to be a message. You won't see it here because this one I already responded to. You're going to just respond and simply say, I authorize this complaint. I'm going to show you what that looks like. So see, if I scroll down, it says right here, yes, I authorize this complaint. After that, the next correspondence that you get from the BBB will be to confirm that they received this authorization. And then the next one after that will be to confirm that this account has been removed. Now, this process should take anywhere between, I would say, 3 days to even like maybe 8 days, depending on if you do this on the weekend or holidays. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hopefully this was a successful endeavor for you. Let me know in the comments how this worked out for you, if you were successful in removing that collection account. I do also want to mention that this does not work for any type of account besides a collection. Please don't ask me in the comments. This won't work for an installment. It won't work for an auto loan. It will not work for any charge off. The only other issue that I ever saw is when it comes to collections that have in-house collections. For example, collections with like your power company and things like that. Collections with things like Affirm, Afterpay services. A lot of those actually will say collections, but they're really treated like charge-offs, meaning they haven't been sold to a third party. This is for third party collection agencies. This is not for the original creditor. So if you have an original creditor that put a balance into a collection, this method will not work. Treat those like charge-offs. All right. Now, I have seen sometimes where it did work for certain types of collections, but it can be kind of iffy. Collections where the actual creditor still has it, they just have a collection service that does the collection. It really is more like a charge-off than it is a collection, and this will not work more than likely, but you can attempt it. If you guys have any questions that I did not answer in the video, I tried to answer any question that I've seen throughout the year that people would normally ask that I had to repeat myself over and over. So if it seemed like I was like irritated at certain points, I'm really not. It's just that I have to like overstate it because again, like there's people who are watching this and they're not really watching it. They're just skimming it. So they end up missing like key points and key things. And I understand you just want to get to the point, but it's not always, it takes like a few minutes just to pay attention. It's not that hard just to pay attention for like 20-30 minutes. Just do it, because it really does make up for all the questions that end up getting asked, and then I have to go back like in my comments and spend several like hours responding to comments that honestly, if you would have just watched the whole video, it's in the video. So please, again, if you can just watch it all the way through one time, if you have to repeat it just one more time just to make sure that you didn't miss anything, I'd greatly appreciate that. I feel like that's very respectful of not just my time, but your time as well. Thank you again so much for watching this video, and you have a wonderful day. Welcome back to Success with Steven. My name is Steven Smith. On this channel, we discuss everything financial literacy. Today, we're going to show you step by step how to remove that late payment from your credit report. And this is not going to be writing or goodwill letters. We're not going to be giving them a call. This will be an updated method. It does not require the CFPB. However, I do want to state at the time of recording this video, the CFPB method does still work. The CFPB is still open. You can send your disputes through the CFPB, but as we've seen, things happen very quickly. It's good that if anything does change, that there is a new method already published and ready to go that I can send you if or when anything does change in the future. Now, on-time payments account for 35% of your overall credit score. That is the biggest factor affecting your credit score to date. So even if you had a perfect 850 credit score right now, and you had one late payment that reported 30 days past due, it could drop your score on average 100 points, not to mention it stays on your report for up to 7 years. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. The first thing I want to talk about is where you can view your credit report. Now, annual credit report is the only source for your free credit report that is authorized by the federal government. It's also the only credit report that shows the full payment history in its entirety. All right. If you would like to get that, go to annualcreditreport.com. That is free on a weekly basis as of the time of recording this video. Now, my other recommendation is Identity IQ. You can start a free trial for $1. The link is in the description. The reason why I like to use this method with late payments is because it actually shows each account side by side and just makes it very easy to show that this information is inaccurate. That's really it. You can also get the same information from annualcreditreport.com, and you can simply screenshot each one and upload all three. Either way is good. It doesn't really matter which way, but one method you have is free. The other one does have that free trial. So if you just need to use it just long enough to complete this method, then it'll only cost you $1. All right. So let's move on to the next step. Now, for this example, I'm going to be using an old screenshot from Identity IQ, and it's going to be a screenshot for late payments. Now, this is going to be very, very simple. Once you're signed into Identity IQ and you're looking at your account that's late, you will see 3 different payment histories. All right. The reason why I brought up annual credit report is because where there's these white spots right here, more than likely, these are on-time payments. But for whatever reason, there's no other source that you can get your credit report from except for annualcreditreport.com or straight from the bureaus. If you request the report, it'll show the full payment history. But what I do like is when you do have a late payment, they have to show it. And they have to show what comes after it as well. This basically means on TransUnion, there was a 30-day late payment in February, and then January, it was paid on time. Same thing with Experian, and then it shows February late, paid on time in January, paid on time in December. Equifax, there's more information, but as you can see, this is just what it's showing you. Now, here is what we're doing with this strategy. It's a very, very simple strategy. Go to the account that has a 30-day late payment. Look at the account. The first thing you want to look for is inaccuracies. Notice how on this one, Equifax right here shows that it was actually paid on time in February, but it's 30 days late in January. Vice versa, it's showing that it's paid on time in January for TransUnion and Experian, but it was 30 days late in February. So what you would do is take a screenshot just like this of your account, and then you would circle it just like this. The first thing you do is send a dispute to Equifax. I'm going to show you how to send the dispute after this. But when you send the dispute, you would simply say, hey, Equifax, on my credit report, I believe that this information is not accurate because it actually shows my account was paid on time January of 2020. As you can see here, January is paid on time for TransUnion. January is paid on time for Equifax. You are the only one showing that I was 30 days late. Can you update this information? More than likely, they will update the information. They will update it. And what's going to happen is Equifax will be completely paid on time. Then what do? Well, if Equifax is completely paid on time, there's no more 30-day late payments. We now take the new screenshot of Equifax and we say, hey, Experian and TransUnion, Equifax is actually paid on time for February of 2020. You are reporting inaccurate information. What happens after that? TransUnion updates, Experian updates, and now everything is paid on time. All we did was use the inaccurate information and played it against each one of the bureaus until everything was updated to paid on time. Now, I also have another video that shows you what to do if you don't have these inaccuracies. I haven't updated that method yet, but I will be doing it very soon. The other video still works. If you want to watch that video, I'll link it here, but it's how to remove late payments, and it shows you how to do it if there's no inaccuracies. This one is going to be showing you how to do it in the case that you do have an inaccuracy. You're going to make sure that you're showing the account name, make sure that you're showing the account number, and make sure that you're showing all three bureaus that are reporting. And then you want to screenshot this, you want to circle this. And in this situation, if I were you, I would first start with Equifax, because already two of the bureaus in this example are reporting paid on time, paid on time. So you already have two bureaus that are saying that this information, it should be consistent. The only one that's not is Equifax. So if you can get Equifax to change it, Equifax is now completely paid on time. Now you can use Equifax to change Experian and TransUnion. Now, before we move on to the next step, I want to make this a new thing now. Whenever I'm making any updated videos to this credit repair stuff, I want to make sure that I'm showing you how you can find the answer to these questions for the future. Like I told you in previous videos, if I'm not making any more credit repair videos or updating this information, you need to be able to know how to find out all this stuff for yourself. So I'm going to show you exactly how I figure out all this information. Now, I'm going to link this in the description. What you are looking at right now is the Fair Credit Reporting Act. There was a revision back in May of 2023. This is your rights. This is how you get things changed on your credit report, by understanding this. As long as this does not change, your rights do not change. It doesn't matter if the CFPB is closed down. It doesn't matter if the FTC is closed down. It doesn't matter if the Better Business Bureau is closed down, which, again, all of these places are all open right now. All of them are open at the time of recording this video. But I'm just saying the methods don't change. If you didn't have the CFPB, you could do exactly what we just talked about, but mail a letter certified. There's also online services that allow you to mail letters without having to get up and leave your house. So worst case scenario, all of the methods on my channel still work. You just can mail a letter. That's like the worst case scenario. If you can't send it through the CFPB, that's the only thing that changes. Nothing changed with the method. You just mail a letter. That's it. All right. But again, I'm going to show you another way to do it online for this video. I just want you to understand that this is where your information comes from. You don't have to ask me or anybody else on YouTube. You can figure it out for yourself. It's all here. And if there's nowhere for you to send it online, mail a letter. All right, so let's actually take a look at the FCRA and then we'll get into some of the details here. All right, now, when you guys start asking me questions in the comments, I'm letting you know going forward, if it's something that can be answered in here, I'm probably going to just start sending this, especially if you are asking questions about, like, let's say a charge off and you're on your third, fourth, or fifth round and you're asking me, what do I do if I don't have any more? I'm just going to send you this. Nothing I'm doing is anything special. It's all here. So if you want to know the answer, don't ask me. Look this up. All right. So I'm going to scroll down and just notice the contents. Permissible purposes of consumer reports. You might want to read that. Requirements relating to information contained in consumer reports. You may want to read that. Block of information resulting from identity theft. Looks familiar, right? Adverse information in cases of trafficking. I'm sure y'all have seen those hacks on YouTube. I hope that if I'm saying this, some of you, if you've been actively looking on YouTube, hopefully you're getting my point. You're understanding, like, right now what I'm trying to say. All right, let's scroll down. So this is where you guys are probably going to be looking when it comes to late payments. Section 623, responsibilities of furnishers of information to consumer reporting agencies. Why don't we take a look and see exactly what it says about this? You can click on it. It goes right to it. It's like magic. All right. Responsibility of furnishers of information to consumer reporting agencies. You've probably seen this on a ton of videos. 15 USC 1681S. You probably noticed that most of the time, all of my verbiage is never actually used directly from here. Reason being, if you do that, sometimes it gets thrown out as frivolous when you just copy and paste what's in the FCRA. All right. You just need to basically restate what it says inside of here, but you put it in your own words. This is what you're going to be using for late payments. Reporting information with actual knowledge of errors. A person shall not furnish any information relating to a consumer to any consumer reporting agency if the person knows or has reasonable cause to believe that the information is inaccurate. So all I need is reasonable cause to believe the information is accurate. If I just showed you a picture of your credit report and you saw 3 different reports, 2 of them say one thing, this one says something else, would that not be reasonable to believe that the information is inaccurate? I would say so. I think that's pretty reasonable, right? Reporting information after notice and confirmation of errors. A person shall not furnish information relating to a consumer to any consumer reporting agency if the person has been notified by the consumer at the address specified by the person for such notices that specific information is inaccurate. Address becoming important, or if the information is in fact inaccurate. So you can dispute information if you just believe it's inaccurate. So just so that you understand this, the burden of proof is not on the consumer. It's on whoever's reporting it, the company or the reporting agency. All right. So it's not on you to have to really prove anything. It's just on you to have to say it's inaccurate. Let me show you why. That's it. That's pretty much it. The only other thing that you have to worry about is when information is verifiable, but I'll save that for charge-offs. All right. The reason why I'm going through this is because I really want you guys to understand, not just watch a video on YouTube. I get it. You want answers fast. That's fine. But when you don't have the answers or people are just feeding you information that's not really helping you, you can go out and get the answers yourself as opposed to trying to ask someone, for it. You can get it yourself. It's all right here. I'll link it in the description. So with that being said, let's move on to how you actually get these late payments removed, how we're going to use this to do it. All right. All right. So if you watch my latest videos with the new method, you should know by now that we're not going to go to the CFPB. Once again, At the time of recording, the CFPB is open. The method is valid. This is just an alternative just in case you want to do this in the future if it's needed. But right now, it's actually not needed, but we're doing it anyway. All right, so you can go to file a complaint, and then you would say, I'd like to file a complaint against a business and have the BBB help me get a resolution to my problem. That's what you would like to do. And then we're going to click on file a complaint. And as you can see here, I just pulled up a Google tab, searched it on Google. Equifax gave me Equifax Information Services, P.O. Box. This is the one in Atlanta. Experian, the one in Allen, Texas. TransUnion, P.O. Box, the one in Chester. So, I mean, you could simply just Google this stuff and you could find it very, very easily. And then you just match that up with what you search in the BBB. And then as you can easily see, Equifax Credit Information Services, I typed it in and this came up. But if I scroll down, I could easily find the one that I'm looking for. So Equifax Inc. P.O. Box 740256. We can go over here and match it. What do you know? 740256. Same exact one right here. If you don't know any of them, just Google it, look it up, type it into this search until you find the one that you're looking for. You may have to type it in various ways, but eventually you will find the one that you were looking for. So once we've confirmed our mailing address and we know exactly where the dispute is going, we have a few questions right here. Now, is this complaint solely about buyer's remorse? It is not. Is this an employee complaint? It is not. Does your complaint seek criminal penalty? It does not. Has this complaint been filed in court? It is not. And are you a business attempting to collect money? You are not. So you would select no, 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 and then continue. Now, this is very important. You want to make sure that you enter all your information, but you especially want to enter your email address. Reason being, the BBB will ask you to confirm this dispute to make sure that you actually were the one that sent it. They will confirm that by sending it to your email. So it's very important that you use an actual email where they can respond to, okay? So now we are on step 1 of your complaint. Now it says here, note, to help others evaluate this business, your complaint details may be added to the business profile for this business on bbb.org. Please do not include any personal identifiable information, including credit card numbers or your social security number. When you tell us about your problem, BBB may edit your complaint to protect the privacy rights of yourself and others. Now, did this issue occur in the last 12 months? You want to say yes. Does your complaint involve a health issue or a health care provider? The answer is no. In this section, this is where you're going to describe your problem with the late payment. So I'm just going to copy and paste this here. And you guys can copy this. If you do it verbatim, I would just change up a few words, just a little bit, just to make it slightly off than what you see here. You don't want it to be the exact same. But we're going to go over everything that it says and why we're using it in the first place. So I recently reviewed my credit report and noticed an account that was not reporting accurately. I had a late payment on an account that was in fact paid on time. The consumer reporting agencies have need to report all information with complete accuracy. So I even made a typo there. And typos are okay. It just looks more human, honestly. But the consumer reporting agencies need to report all information with complete accuracy. This account has not been late on payments. I've attached a copy of my credit report to this complaint on the following dates. That's where you insert the date. Now, here is my recommendation when it comes to late payment disputes. I recommend you only dispute one late payment or no more than 2 at a time. If you try to shoot for 2 and it doesn't work, try again, but just do 1. So in the example that we're using, I recommend just using the 1 for Equifax, getting that changed, and then going back and doing a dispute for the other 2. So then everything shows as paid on time. When you insert the date, you'll always do the month and the year. 2 digits for the month, 2 digits for the year. You'll always insert it like that. Okay. Now, I demand this payment be updated to paid on time immediately. You cannot report information with knowledge that this information has errors. I have substantial doubts about the accuracy of the information. Please update this information to paid, never late. So I'm going to leave this right here. So if someone wants to screenshot it, you can screenshot it, then copy it So you can have that for your notes. But the important part that I'm trying to really stress here is all the information that I stated was like a general paragraph that I just wrote up. And then if you look at it, it says right here, I demand that this payment be updated immediately. You cannot report information with knowledge that this information has errors. We got that right from the FCRA. We didn't state the US code. We didn't do that. All we did was just say, hey, you can't report this with knowledge that the information is inaccurate. And it's not even that the information is inaccurate. There's reasonable doubt. So I said in the next sentence, I have substantial doubts about the accuracy of the information. Please update the account to paid, never late. So with the credit bureaus, you're more than likely to get an update before you get a deletion. So usually this is very easy for them to actually do. I would say the only difficult part about a late payment is that it is very tedious to do this one by one. Because for the most part, it's easy to do one. Trying to get 10 late payments changed at one time, I think it's very unlikely that that's going to happen. All right. It's very unlikely. So again, I suggest no more than 2, but I recommend just 1. There is no amount to enter for the amount of money that you paid. If you want to enter the account number of your account, then you can enter that information here. It's okay. It's optional. That's only if you think for whatever reason they'd have a hard time identifying the account. If so, add it right here. You're going to go to your desired resolution. What you want to do is correction to a credit report. That is your desired resolution. You will then upload the screenshot that you had, okay? You will upload the screenshot that you took with the circle of the late payments showing why this is inaccurate. You will also include a copy of your driver's license, all right? You will include a copy of your social security card. You will also include a copy of your proof of address. You need this because if you do not add this on there, the credit bureaus will say they cannot identify who you are. It is a stall tactic. If you don't add that information, they will stall you by responding with that, and then you'll have to just go ahead and submit this whole thing over again. Remember at the top right here, it says do not include personally identifiable information, and that's going to be right here in the tell us about your problem section. It doesn't say anything about the supporting documentation, all right? But you need this for the bureaus. It is important. You do need it. If you don't add it, they will stall you out. I just want to make note of that. If you don't feel comfortable, send a letter. I mean, it still has to get sent either way, and the bureaus will ask it for you. So if you feel more comfortable with the BBB, then send it through there. If you feel more comfortable with the CFPB, send it through there. If you don't feel comfortable with either of those, send a letter certified. Either way, somehow they have to get it to be able to identify you. So pick whichever one you like, but either way, you'll have to do it. All right, so then you'll hit continue. And then I just put a bunch of fake information here, but your first name, your last name, your email, again, an email that you actually use, your phone number, a street address that should, of course, match the address on your ID and on your credit report. And hopefully you've removed all old addresses from your report and it's only one. And here's the description of the complaint with our desired settlement. And then here, this is optional. You can enter if you are a U.S. active duty service member and if you are willing to help the BBB with the complaint by responding to some additional questions if you would like that. If not, you only need to worry about checking off these 3 and then you would submit. Now I'm going to stop right here because I'm not going to submit this complaint. But when you do, you're going to immediately get an email. The email will let you know that this has been sent to the BBB and they're actively working on it. Within around 24 hours, you should get a response asking you to sign into the Better Business Bureau portal. This portal will have a code at the bottom. You will copy that code, you will paste it in, you will now get this entire messaging portal. When you are on that portal, they will ask you to confirm that you are the one that sent this. All you have to do is respond. It's going to be a little white box to respond and type, I authorize this complaint. Send it. After that has been sent, they will respond confirming that they have sent this to the company and they're just a mediator and they're just going to help you get this fixed. It will get sent to the bureaus. Okay. After it's sent to the bureaus, hopefully what we're looking for is an update to what happened. All right. There is a second part to this, but I have another video that I can actually just send you or link it. I'll probably link it right here. You can use that video about when to respond to like late payments with your second round. If need be, ideally, they just update it right away. If for whatever reason they didn't do it, simply respond asking them to verify their investigation. Again, all this is in the FCRA if you really need to get further details. They let you know about how the investigation process works. If you just use verbiage in your own tone, your own voice, but basically translate it from what the FCRA says, you'll likely see lots of deletions. But again, this is just one part. I'll probably be making a part 2 on how to respond afterwards. But for right now, this is how you would get a late payment removed without having to call or send a letter and without using the CFPB, and get these updates for inaccuracies on your credit report. Once again, thank you guys so much for watching this video. When it comes to updating all of these credit repair videos for this alternative method, I believe I'm only going to be doing maybe 4 more, and that's going to be on maybe the 2 more options for late payments that I want to show you how to respond, and then they're going to all be through the BBB going forward. I also want to update at least 1 for charge-offs, and then possibly 1 more for charge-offs where I talk about alternative methods or different types of inaccuracies and how you can put this together and figure it out using the FCRA. That's the Fair Credit Reporting Act. All right. I'm going to make you guys self-sufficient so you can do this on your own. So no matter what happens, you will be able to figure out how to dispute your credit reports on your own. Once again, thank you so much for watching this video. If this video actually helped you, if you were able to get your late payments updated, please respond in the comments below. The CFPB method is still working. So, hey, if you want to watch that video, if you just watch this one and you're unaware, it does still work. I think the CFPB is just slightly more convenient than the Better Business Bureau. But either one, it pretty much will give you the same results. So as long as you use one of these methods, it should work for you. If you want that one, I'll probably link it at the end of this video so you can watch that. And if you have any additional questions, please leave those in the comments as well. And you guys have a wonderful day. Welcome back to Success with Steven. My name is Steven Smith. On this channel, we discuss all things financial literacy. And today I'll be completing a refresher on charge-off removals in 2025. Last year, I covered several videos on charge-offs and removing them in various methods. Every single video is still valid right now. However, I want to give an additional strategy with this video since we did have some issues with the CFPB and there were some concerns that were raised. I do want to clarify a few things in this video. The first thing I want to clarify is that you don't need the CFPB to remove a charge off. The CFPB was just an easy way for you to dispute these accounts online. There are various ways that you can still do this. I've been updating old videos about options of disputing through the Better Business Bureau, the BBB, and you can also dispute this directly with the credit bureau's websites. And if all else fails, you can send a letter through certified mail. So as I go through the steps, I want to overemphasize, please understand that the methods that I'm giving you, they are based on the FCRA. That is the Fair Credit Reporting Act. As long as you know your rights and your rights have not changed, these methods still work. You can do exactly everything in this video, in any old video. The only thing that really changes is the mode of a delivery, whether it's through the CFPB, the BBB, or through the mail. That's the only thing that changes. The verbiage, everything else is the exact same. Charge-offs, they are the highest level of delinquency that you can have besides a bankruptcy on your credit report. And that's what makes them one of the hardest items to get removed from your credit to date. And I'm going to show you step by step the best way that you can dispute charge-offs to get them permanently deleted from your credit report. And this has been and still is, for me, the most accurate way that I can provide to show you how to get this information removed. I've done the same thing that you guys have. I went through all the videos. I looked at other people's content when I was trying to remove them. I had more than 8 charge-offs. I got them all deleted. It took me about 24 months, so a little over 2 years. However, I didn't have all of these methods in order to do it. I developed these over time, and now you're getting them upfront in various different strategies, and you're going to get all this information for free. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. Now, before we start, I want to preface this by saying there's no one that can guarantee you that a charge-off will be removed from your credit report or in any certain period of time. I'm not a credit repair specialist. This is not a credit repair channel. I don't want your money. So please don't email me. Don't ask me on the side, can you do this for me? If you do, I will just delete the message. This is DIY credit repair tips. I fix my own credit using all the methods that I provide on this channel and that I'm providing you today. There's, again, various other methods that you can take a look at, and I'm sharing them with you for free completely. The only reason why I'm doing this is because all of the other videos on my channel have to do with business funding, leveraging debt, and different ways to make money. One of the, most important ways to do that involves leveraging your personal credit. And if you don't have good personal credit, you can't really do anything else that I talk about. So this is the prerequisite to everything else that I have to speak on. It really doesn't make sense for me to talk about that if I don't address this. That's the only reason why we're discussing it. And I have my own personal experience with this. I went through it as well. So if you're going through it, I definitely understand where you're coming from. Now, what I can promise you is that if you follow these steps properly, it will greatly increase your chances of success with getting these accounts deleted. Most of you are probably watching this because you've tried my previous methods, hard inquiry, collection, late payments, and chances are you probably had some success with those methods. And because you've had some success with those, you want to take a look at what else I have to offer. Makes a lot of sense. Charge-offs are different. The video that you watched on collections, you cannot use that same method for a charge-off. Hard inquiries, it doesn't work. It does not work the exact same way. The difficult part about charge-offs is that they're not one size fits all. Hard inquiries and collections are kind of all the same. The method really is the same no matter who you're dealing with. Charge-offs are as unique as a fingerprint. No one's one account is the same as anyone else's, not one. That's why you can't just make a one tailor-made strategy for everyone that just will always work. That's the reason why charge-offs need so many various strategies. I want to set the right expectation when you're watching this video, and I want you to understand that you can do this yourself if you're willing to put in the work. It's worked for me. I'm hoping that it'll work for you as well. All right, so now that we got that out the way, I want to break this down as if I'm talking to a kid or someone that knows absolutely nothing about credit, about charge-offs, or any of this stuff. It's very important for you to not only just follow step by step what someone is doing, but to understand, fully understand and comprehend what it is that you're trying to accomplish and how you can get this done. If you understand what you're doing, you'll never need to watch my videos or anyone else's videos ever again, because you'll understand that this process doesn't really involve following a particular person on YouTube, or it's not a trick. It's you gathering information and using the law in order to get this stuff removed to your benefit. All right, so let's start by talking about what a charge-off actually is. A charge-off means a company has written off a debt because it does not believe it will receive the money that it's owed. You're still responsible for paying this debt once it's charged off. Paying off or settling that overdue debt does not mean that it's removed from your credit report. So even if you pay off a charge-off, all that does is change the status of the account from settled or paid, or maybe settled for less than. When you pay it off, it does extend the statute of limitations, which means it can remain on your credit report for an additional 7 years. So for this reason, we focus on deleting the account instead of just paying it off, or instead of waiting these 7 years. When it comes to charge-offs, there are various different types, and I want to go over each category that I think is important. There may be more, but these are the ones that are usually what you see on most people's credit reports. Now, when it comes to different type of charge-offs you will encounter, you have high balance charge-offs. A high balance charge-off can be anything above $1,500 depending on your situation. Sometimes you may want to avoid disputing these. The balance, when it's high, it means more likely that you may be subject to legal action. The higher the balance, the more likely that someone may file a lawsuit against you. Now, I just want to make this very, very clear because I want to address everything when it comes to charge-offs, but you can be sued regardless to if you get the account removed or not. So you have to take that into account as well. So whether you do or whether you don't, it's pretty much the same thing. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Just know that it's more likely for it to happen the higher the balance. Now, a low balance charge-off is anything below $1,500. Usually you get these deleted very easily by using factual disputes. And that's what we're going to be doing for this particular video. There are, again, various methods, but for the purpose of this one, we're going to focus on factual disputes. We just went over this, but I just want to give a little bit more detail between paid and settled. So paid or settled accounts, either you pay the balance in full or you settle for a lower amount, whatever the case may be, these accounts have already been legally validated. So when we talk about factual disputes, they're normally done in a 3-round process, and they can also go beyond 3 rounds. But to initiate this, we normally ask for a preliminary investigation, then a reinvestigation, and then we present our factual dispute. When it comes to accounts that are paid and accounts that are settled, because they're already legally validated, you can actually skip right to round 3 and start your factual dispute. There's no need for you to do round 1 and round 2. A transferred account is an account that usually has a 0 balance, and it should indicate that the account has been transferred or sold to someone else. Now, if you have an account that says sold or transferred, but you don't have a 0 balance, you'll definitely want to follow the reinvestigation process where you do your preliminary investigation, reinvestigation, and then you submit your factual dispute. Now, there are non-transfer charge-offs. You dispute these the same way as the low balance charge-offs, round 1, round 2, and then round 3 for your factual dispute. Now, in order for you to do this properly, you need to check your credit report. And you need to make sure that you're actually getting your credit report from annualcreditreport.com. In past videos, I talk about different reasons why you need to use, like, let's say, Identity IQ to make things easier. ScoreSense kind of has the same setup. You can get your credit report from Experian and get all 3 bureaus. But here's the thing. The only credit report that you can get that will have all of your actual account details is going to be from annualcreditreport.com. You can also request it from the credit bureaus, but annualcreditreport.com pulls the exact same information, and you can get it for free every single week. So every week you can request this report and see an updated copy of each credit report from each bureau. Now, keep in mind that is only as of the time of recording this video. This is something that happened during COVID, and they just never stopped doing it. It used to be only once a year that you could get this for free, but it's weekly, and it's been going on for a few years now. So it looks like hopefully it's going to be something that will stick around, but you know, that may change depending on the time that you're watching this video. The only other thing that I would like to mention is that when it comes to TransUnion, if you have a dispute that is ongoing with TransUnion, they will not allow you to get your report while a dispute is processing. So just keep that in mind when you're going through this and you're disputing information. If you're doing a lot of it at the same time, don't be surprised if for whatever reason you can't access your TransUnion report while you're in the midst of a dispute. Once the dispute has been closed, you'll have access to that report. So just, don't get caught off guard with that. That's normal. It happens to everybody. That's just something that you're going to expect along the way. Other than that, all the other reports, you can get them perfectly fine once a week as of the recording of this video. Now, I broke down disputing a charge-off into 4 simple parts. And step 1, if you guys watched any of my previous videos, is going to be the same. Step 1 is that you're going to send an investigation complaint. Please note, you never send your factual dispute initially to dispute a charge-off. What I mean by that is your information is your ammunition. You don't want to give them all of the discrepancies or inaccuracies up front. You do not want to do that. You want to do a preliminary investigation, a reinvestigation, and then you want to ask them to actually delete because of the following inaccuracy. And I'm going to get more into detail about why we do that in the next part of the video. Now, for step 2, you're going to send your reinvestigation. That is your follow-up complaint. And then step 3 will finally be your factual dispute. For example, you can do date of last activity, the payment history. These are things that I would dispute first. They usually work very well. And if you have a charge off that's old, you normally find a lot of inaccuracies. Then for step 4 and beyond, which can be step 4, round 4, whatever you want to call it. Round 4 can be any other factual dispute. If the account doesn't get deleted in round 3, you keep submitting other factual disputes that you can find. And again, it could be plenty of them. I'll give you a list of reasons later in the video. Now, all of this information that I'm providing you came from the FCRA, again, the Fair Credit Reporting Act, and then we'll be going over to the Cornell Law School of Legal Information Institute. The reason why I always recommend going there is because it actually breaks down the law in a very simple way for anyone to understand. That way you don't have to try to decipher what's being said. They can tell you in a very easy, simple manner. And as you guys may or may not be aware, in the last few videos that I've updated for various credit repair methods, I've been talking about the Fair Credit Reporting Act. I've been pulling it up and I've been reading it because I really want you to understand anything that I say on my videos came from this. I'm not giving you anything it's not a trick. It's not a hack. It's not a loophole. There's nothing like that. Any of those are just buzzwords that people just say in videos to grab your attention. I understand that. It's great for when you're trying to get people to watch your content. And that's fine as long as the information works. But if you want to figure out what to do past whatever I say, everything is here. So let's break it down and really try to understand exactly what we're doing here. So think of this like the rule book of credit repair. It tells you everything that you can do. It tells you everything that the credit bureaus can do. The credit bureaus are just private companies. They're not government agencies. They have no right to do anything when it comes to reporting your information. They report what you allow them to report. So if you allow them to do something, then they will. Anyone will do anything that you allow them to do to you. If you don't, you have to speak up and say something. That would be a dispute. Now, I'm just going to scroll down because for the purpose of this video, I already know the section that I want to show you. And it's going to be section 623, responsibilities of furnishers of information to consumer reporting agencies, 15 USC. And usually this is the one that everybody references whenever they're doing a dispute. But let's actually click on it for 1 second and let's talk about exactly what's going on here. Subsection 623, responsibilities of furnishers of information to consumer reporting agencies. The duty of furnishers of information to provide accurate information. So, reporting information with actual knowledge of errors. A person shall not furnish any information relating to a consumer to any consumer reporting agency if the person knows or has reasonable cause to believe that the information is inaccurate. Very simple. In reporting information after notice and confirmation of errors, a person shall not furnish information relating to a consumer to any consumer reporting agency if the person has been notified by the consumer at the address specified by the person for such notices that specify the information is inaccurate and the information is in fact inaccurate. We're not disputing whether this account is valid or not. We're not disputing whether or not you owe a balance or not. We're disputing, is this information accurate? And if it's not, well, let's see what happens. So I just switched over to the Cornell Law Legal Information Institute. The reason why I switched over here is because the information on the FCRA can be intentionally ambiguous, which means it's very hard to be understood explicitly because the information purposely is made that way. So nothing is just said to you outright. You kind of have to interpret the information. As long as law is up to interpretation, you cannot feasibly get the same result every single time. So we have to find certain parts and certain verbiage that we can use in order to get the point across that we're trying to make. And that's exactly what we're going to be doing here. Now, let's look at exactly what happens when you dispute an account. Now, this is the procedure in case of disputed accuracy. So right here, it says subject to subsection F and except as provided in subsection G, if the completeness or accuracy of any item of information contained in a consumer's file at a consumer reporting agency is disputed by the consumer and the consumer notifies the agency directly or indirectly through a reseller of such dispute, the agency shall, free of charge, conduct a reasonable reinvestigation. Now notice it said a reasonable reinvestigation. When I read this, I realized if you have to do a reinvestigation, that means that there must be an initial investigation. And it lets you know right here, reinvestigations are required. So that lets me know I can't just say something is wrong, delete it. I have to ask them to investigate it. And then I also have to ask for a reinvestigation. They conduct for free of charge a reasonable investigation to determine whether the disputed information is inaccurate and record the current status of the dispute. That's why your disputes update. They have to record if you're disputing it or they're reinvestigating it. They also have to let you know if they delete the item from your file in accordance with paragraph 5 before the end of 30 days. So an investigation can only go on for 30 days. And if they cannot complete that investigation in 30 days, the information will be deleted. Now, here's section 5 that we were just talking about. Treatment of inaccurate or unverifiable information. If after any reinvestigation under paragraph 1 of any information disputed by a consumer, an item of the information is found to be inaccurate or incomplete or cannot be verified, the consumer reporting agency shall promptly delete that item of information from the file of the consumer or modify that item of information as appropriate based on the results of the reinvestigation, and promptly notify the furnisher of that information that the information has been modified or deleted from the file of the consumer. So just right there, it's letting you know very, very easily if the account is inaccurate, if the account is unverifiable, if the account is incomplete. Any of these things can warrant a deletion or an update. This is the reason why you don't just send 5 factual disputes outright. Why? They can update, they can change. You're wasting your time. You need to do an investigation. You need to do the reinvestigation. And then you need to actually ask them to delete the information, and then you provide them with the reason why. That is the process for getting a charge off deleted. This is the reason why I was stressing so much that the CFPB didn't dictate whether or not this law was upheld. You dictate that. The CFPB was just an easy way to send it online and not have to send it certified mail. It just made the process faster because they can respond right away. So again, you don't need the CFPB. You don't need the BBB. You could send letters in the mail. It does take longer. The point is that all the information from past videos in this video is valid. It's all still valid. The only thing that we're changing is how you send it. All right. If you want to know how to do anything or delete anything on your credit report, or to change anything, modify anything, or just know what your rights are, it's all here. The more you understand and the more that you know your rights, the easier it's going to be for you to get this information removed. All right. So now that we hopefully completely understand why we have to go through this process, let's talk about round 1. So for round 1, you need to send an investigation complaint. Remember, never send a factual dispute until after you have asked for your procedural investigation. You always have to send this procedural investigation as the first step. And I've given you the verbiage right here that this is the first step, round 1 complaint. And it says, recently I looked at a copy of my credit report. I noticed several inaccuracies on my account. This account is hurting my ability to obtain credit. It's my understanding that you will investigate this account for me to ensure accuracy. Here is the account I am asking you to verify as accurate. You put the account name, you put the account number, and you send a copy of your driver's license, a copy of your social security card. You upload this to CFPB, the BBB, you add it to your letter. You also send a proof of address. That can be a utility bill. It could be your phone bill. It could be your cover page of your bank statement. It could be your insurance. It could be your voter's registration card. Whatever the case may be, you have to send all 3 of these documents. If you do not, they will say that they can't verify who you are to stall you out. Do it or else it gets stalled and you'll have to repeat the process anyway. Once again, you can send this through, it doesn't matter how you do it. You can send this through the CFPB. You can send this through the BBB. You can also send it in the mail certified. Again, this is what you would do for round number 1. Now, when you send this through, let's say the CFPB or the Better Business Bureau, anything like that, normally you get a response within 7 days because you're actually sending this electronically. That's what I found out from doing this various times. I found out that sending letters, you always get a letter within 30 days. They make it longer so that you can't respond in a timely fashion. It makes the process take longer. That was the whole reason for going through the CFPB, because normally they finish their dispute in a week and you can send your next round right afterwards. You can send round 2 as soon as they update it. And now what used to take 3 or 4 months to challenge with letters, you can do it in 3 or 4 weeks. So you can have stuff falling off in less than a month when it used to take 4 or 5 months. So that's the reason why we do it this way instead of sending out letters, even though letters work perfectly fine. That is still an option for you. Now, round number 2, this is your reinvestigation complaint. This is also the verbiage. So it says, I don't agree with the account listed below, which still appears on my credit report. Even after your investigation, I would like this account immediately reinvestigated. These inaccuracies are highly injurious to my credit rating. Furthermore, in accordance with the Fair Credit Reporting Act, this is public law 91 through 506. It's going to give you the section, the title, and the subsection A through D, exactly what we just went through. They need to provide you the names, the business address of each individual with whom they verify the information so that you may follow up. Please forward me and update the credit report after you have completed your investigation and corrections. Your cooperation and prompt attention is greatly appreciated. You would list the account name once again. You'd also list the account number, a copy of your driver's license, your social security card, and proof of address. You have to always add that. Now, this does a few things based off what we just read that was in the actual FCRA. You're making sure that you're saying, hey, I don't agree with your investigation. How did you do it? Who'd you speak with? When did you speak with them? I want to follow up. Sometimes people will see a deletion with just the round 2. Just because of that, no investigation was ever really done. They just say it's verified by matching your personal information, which is something else that I talk about in a lot of my videos. But personal information is very important. It's important for you to remove old addresses that are tied to accounts. If you don't remove them, it does make it a lot easier to verify. So you need to delete all old information, add new information. That means old employers, old phone numbers. You should have one name, one address that's not associated with any derogatory information. That's it. One name, one address. No phone numbers, no employers, nothing else. It should all be deleted. If you want to know how to do that, I have a video on removing personal information. I'll link it here and you can watch that. Okay. I would probably take care of that before even starting this entire process with disputing charge-offs. That's just my recommendation. You'll probably get a response back if the account isn't deleted again about a week later. We're only 2 weeks in now. They're going to say, hey, the account was verified. For Experian, you'll get a notification online. If you make an account with the Equifax website, you can check the dispute daily. It'll have like a bar that tells you the status. If you see the status is completed, but the account is still there, you can just send your round 3. Same thing with TransUnion. If you just get the TransUnion site, make an account, and then log in, it'll tell you the status of the dispute. They won't notify you or update you any other way. You have to just keep checking it like periodically. But in my experience with round 1 and round 2, if you check back a week later, it's usually verified and done. Now, this is where we send round 3. We got them to do the initial investigation and confirm it was verified. We got them to do round 2 and say it was verified. Now we get to move on to round 3. Now, before we go to round 3, I want to talk about the most common inaccuracies because I've had to dispute some accounts for like round 12, 13, 14, which means I had to send this 14, 15 times. So I want you to understand that this isn't something that's just going to magically happen overnight. I hope it's easier for you because I'm giving you all the information up front, but just know that it can take a while. All right. So the first one that I like to start with is repeated charge off, meaning if you see CO every single month, that means that they are constantly updating a charged off account. Once an account is charged off, it's dead. There's no new activity. So if you see any new activity on a charge off, that is inaccurate. All right. It's inaccurate because your statute of limitations is extended. It makes the account look newer than what it actually is. That is re-aging the account. That's illegal. The second one is not indicating when the account has been sold. That's a misrepresentation of account status. Remember, we had the transferred account, the sold account that has a balance. If you know it's been sold, but they don't list that information there, that is a misrepresentation. You need to go ahead and dispute that. That is factually inaccurate. The next one is not reflecting a zero balance after an account has been transferred or sold. That's another method called double jeopardy. I might update that method, but if not, I have a video on this channel discussing double jeopardy. I suggest that you watch that video. The next one is reporting inconsistent balances across all 3 bureaus. This is the one where I did a video with Identity IQ. Reason why? Identity IQ will list all 3 accounts. You don't need to have Identity IQ. You can just screenshot each account from annualcreditreport.com. That means sending 3 screenshots, but whichever one's easier for you. I like Identity IQ for this particular method because it sends all 3 and you can just see them side by side. It makes it easier to show the balances on each account is different from 3 different bureaus. If the information's coming from the same source, the information should always be the same. If the information is not the same, we can't tell which one is accurate, meaning this is all inaccurate information. I don't know which one is, and it's not my job to be able to tell you which one is accurate. So I'm deeming all of this inaccurate. It needs to be deleted. Your date of first delinquency. Your date of first delinquency should reflect the month and year your account was first delinquent. You may see this date change as your account ages. That's why charge-offs that are old are easier to delete, because naturally, the older they are, the more inaccuracies will happen. So if you notice that this is changed or not the same, that is illegal. It's inaccurate. It needs to be deleted. And last, if you notice any changes after 180 charged off days, that status is inaccurate. After 180 days, an account has to be charged off. It has to be. And that's an easy one for them to update as well. But that is something that you can dispute as an account attribute. Now, you may be able to find other things that you can dispute. Just in my experience, when I had to repair my own credit, these were the most common ones that I found. And these were the ones that got me deletions, among other various methods. Now, this is an example of the repeated charge off. Notice this account is an old account that was charged off March of 2022. This is actually one of my old accounts that got deleted. So charge off, charge off, charge off. It kept repeating this. Every month this account was updated. On February of 2022, when this account was completely charged off, there should have been nothing after what we see right here. There should have been one charge off and all of this should have been blank. But they're constantly updating this to hurt my credit every single month. So because of that, that's illegal. We can dispute this. So I'm going to tell you exactly how you would use a screenshot like this to complete your round 3 dispute. So this is an example of what you would send for round 3. So it says this account was charged off on the following date. Remember I said it was like March 2022. This account was charged off. Since then, this account has repeatedly been updated as charged off every month. This is an update in the payment history. A charge off should not include an active payment history. This inaccurate information falsely manipulates the statute of limitations. You failed to investigate this account properly, and your neglect has violated my rights. I am demanding a deletion of the following account name, account number. Now, only round 3 and beyond is when you send the driver's license, the social, the proof of address, and a screenshot of the inaccuracy, just like what I have right here. All right. Your dispute should not be more than 3 sentences long. You just want to identify the account. You want to explain what's wrong, and you want to give your desired outcome. If you want more resources on exactly how to dispute this information or how to basically create this dispute, like past round 3, I do have an ultimate credit repair guide where it has over 40 templates of different scenarios, and it has the verbiage for you. If you want to get that, that is for purchase on my website. You don't need it. You can create your own verbiage. It's very simple, but this is the formula. Identify what the account is, explain what's wrong, and then give your desired outcome. That's all that you need to do. But this is the example of round 3. Now, the reason why I don't give round 4 and beyond is because everyone's charge off is different. So we'll go over that next, and then I'll explain once again why you have to create your own round 4 and beyond. Now, let's say after you did round 3, the account was deleted from Experian, but it's still on TransUnion, it's still on Equifax. Well, we would send round 4. And this is an example of what you can send for a round 4. The following accounts are claiming to both own the same debt with a balance. This is the double jeopardy one. If you have a collection account that has a balance and it's the same as a charge off, technically you can't have both. It has to be one or the other. So this is what I would send. The following accounts are claiming to both own the same debt with a balance. As you know, this is not possible, and this is a violation of my rights. Because of this, Both accounts need to be removed from my credit report immediately due to you not properly validating the information in which a company has passed to you. Please delete immediately. So you would list the charge off account for account 1. You would list the collection account for account number 2. And then you would send driver's license, social, proof of address, and of course, the screenshots of both accounts showing these accounts have the same balance and they're both from the same place. And because you did that without properly investigating this, it needs to be deleted. So you would continue doing this from round 4 beyond. And if you obviously don't have this example on your, like if you look at your credit report and you're like, I don't have a collection for my charge off, not everyone has the exact same thing. And this is the reason why I say with charge offs, it's not a one size fits all. You have to actually look at your report, get a highlighter, find the inaccuracies, find like 3, and then say, I'm going to send round 1 and round 2. Here's my round 3. Here's my round 4. Here's my round 5. Just have them locked and loaded, just ready to go. And then as they respond, you respond and you stay on top of it. You keep doing that until all the information has been deleted. All right. The next thing that we're going to do, once again, I have videos already showing you how to do this through the CFPB. If you want to see how to do it through the CFPB, I'm going to link that video here. The other option is write a letter. You know what that means? Put your return address on the left-hand corner. Take the same verbiage that we have here. This is the body of your letter. Type it if you want, paste it in there, and then send the letter to the credit bureaus and mail it certified. That will never change. If anything changes with the CFPB, if anything changes with the BBB, that will not change. That will always stay the same. All right. So if all else fails, that's what you do. Once again, I've already talked about the CFPB method, which still works. I'm going to link that video at the end of this video if you want to see that method. If you do, there's a section in the timestamp. Jump right to where it says CFPB, click on it, and then you can go that route. I recommend going that route. So if you've watched this entire video and you know that you want to use the CFPB method, click on that video, go to CFPB, and then do that process. For this video, we're going to change it, and I'm going to be showing you how I would submit round 1 through the Better Business Bureau. All right, let's go to the website now. So currently we are on the Better Business Bureau website, and I'm going to show you how to file a complaint. Once again, if you want to use the CFPB method, I recommend that method because it is actually easier than this one. For the BBB, you can't choose to send one dispute to all 3 bureaus at the same time. So when it comes to this particular mode, you have to actually do this 3 times. With the CFPB, you actually can send one dispute and you can select all the 3 places you want to send it to. So, this one would take a little bit longer, but it's easier than also sending it certified mail and, cheaper. So click on file a complaint. Now, once you click on file a complaint, you want to click on I'd like to file a complaint against a business and have the BBB help me get a resolution to my problem. Then click on file a complaint. Now, again, you can't select more than one business at a time with the Better Business Bureau, unlike the CFPB. So let's just say you were going to do Experian. It's very simple. Go to Google, go to Experian, go to P.O. Box. It'll come right up. The one that I'm looking for, though, is the Allen, Texas one. If you guys have actually done a dispute before, that's the P.O. Box, the one with Allen, Texas. But double check because information changes. So at the time of recording this video, I would just make sure that that's the correct P.O. Box. Go to Google, open a tab now, type in Experian, type in P.O. Box, make sure that that's the right address because I could be wrong. All right. So select this one. And then it says, is this complaint solely about buyer's remorse? If you go through all of these options, you'll probably select no for everything, more than likely. And then really for all of these options, if we're disputing a charge off, it should be no. Okay, so this is where you want to fill out all of your information. I do really want to over stress this. You need to use an actual email address where you can be reached. Reason being, the Better Business Bureau will send you an email confirming that you are the person that actually sent this complaint before they send it to any of the bureaus. If you don't confirm that with them, it never gets sent. All right. So make sure you're using an email address always where you can be reached. Okay. So this is where you're going to be putting your complaint in right here where it says, tell us about your problem. Now, you want to state that this issue did occur in the last 12 months, and no, this is not a healthcare provider issue. It's already defaulted as such. Just make sure those options are selected. Now, it does say please do not include any personal identifiable information, including credit card numbers or social security numbers, when you tell us about your problem. So in this section, what you're going to add is whatever you're putting for the round. You will need to include the account number, and you will need to include the account name. You can skip the account order or tracking number section here because you're already going to add the account number right here. You can also skip the amount because you don't need to enter the amount that you paid. We're just talking about verifying accurate information, and this is the initial investigation. Now, what is your desired settlement? Your desired settlement is correction to a credit report. All right. Then right here, you upload your documents. You would upload your driver's license, your social security card, your proof of address, and that's it. Remember, you don't send a screenshot of the inaccuracy until you get to round 3 and beyond. All right. So you would upload that information here to identify you. If you do not upload that information, they will try to say that they can't verify who you are and throw out your dispute. All right. That is a stall tactic. I know what it says right here, but that's including information like that right here in the body where it says, tell us about your problem. You don't want to put that here, but you definitely want to upload that here as supporting documentation. And then you want to click continue. Now, before you submit this, step 3 is review and submit your complaint. It's going to have all your information, your complaint, what you want as the desired settlement. You're going to, of course, agree to these sections here, and then you're going to submit. So I'm going to stop right here because I don't want to submit this as an actual complaint, but just make sure that you verified everything. You verified the PO box and Experian where it's being sent to. You verify your information, that everything is uploaded, everything looks good. Understand that after you send this, in about 1 week, the credit bureaus will send you an update. Make sure you create an account with Equifax, create an account online. That's how you're going to track your dispute. You can go onto Equifax and you can actually see the status. You can see the same thing on TransUnion, and Experian's the only one that actually will send you alerts. So if you download the Experian app, they will send you alerts and emails. All right. So with that being said, you should be able to be notified, and you know when they updated your dispute. Once it's updated, usually again in 1 week, you will then send round 2. You'll do the same process over, but you'll copy this and you'll send the round 2 information in your complaint description. Send round 2 in a week. They respond. You can again create those accounts. Some people use Credit Karma because Credit Karma sends remark updates, and they'll say resolution resolved or complaint resolved or investigation. If you can also use those updates to let you know when it's done, whichever one you prefer. There's just no easy way for you to be notified unless you're actively checking it. All right. Except for with Experian. And then once you sent round 2, 7 days for the first one and 7 days for the second one, you finally send round 3. When you send round 3, that's when you add the proof of the inaccuracy. Now, the other thing that I don't like about the Better Business Bureau when it comes to sending these, if you send too many complaints in a certain period of time, they actually won't allow you to send any. To work around that, you can use a different email address, which I've seen that works, or just clear cache in your browser, or open up a private window, a incognito, or use Safari, then use Google Chrome or use Firefox when you send them. Because if they see in their history that you're sending the same one from the same IP, then they'll try to stop you from sending it. So that's the workaround. I just want to give you everything now, so in the comments, it's not asked later. But if you get that as some type of issue, those are your workarounds. You have to change some piece of information here. Sometimes it could be phone number. Sometimes it could be email, or clear cache, clear history, use a different browser, do it from your phone because the IP is different on here than it is on your computer and what you're using for your Wi-Fi. So, there's various ways to work around that. All right. Now, with that being said, this would be the way that you would get this done through the Better Business Bureau and how you would send every single round for your charge-offs. CFPB method is still valid at the time of recording this video. It's easier, in my opinion. I recommend going that route. But if you want to use this one, it's available to you if anything happens to the CFPB. It's good to have backup methods. Worst case scenario, if you had issues with this, your last resort is to take this same exact information here, for round one, send it in the form of a letter, and you can mail it. There's services online where you can actually send things certified and upload them online. There's mailing services like that. If you just don't want to go to the post office and do it yourself, you can Google those. I have no recommendations, but you can look it up yourself if you would like to do that. The final thing that I'll say is if you do want to have the letters as a template, I do have the Ultimate Credit Repair Guide. You can purchase that on the website. It has all this stuff already created for you, and you can just send it that way through the mail if you wanted to, or you'll have all of the verbiage and the body of all the text if you would like to go that route. All right, thank you guys so much for watching this video. We have now updated with alternative methods to the CFPB, collections, charge-offs, done late payments. I'm going to put all the new methods in a separate playlist from the CFPB methods, or I'm going to create maybe 2 new playlists that says BBB and then CFPB. That way, if the CFPB has an issue, you already know this is the alternative method. So you guys can actually flip between both playlists and you can use both methods if you're having any issues. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. If you kind of skim through this video and I answered your question, I'm going to respond to you with the answers in the video. Unfortunately, when it comes to this, sometimes I get thousands of comments on one video. If you guys see any of my videos where I have 2,000 comments, I try to respond to everything. So understand that if there's 2,000 comments, I responded personally by hand with my own time 1,000 times. Unfortunately, I'm actually busier now than I've ever been. So it's way harder for me to answer emails. It's way harder for me to answer comments. Going forward, if it's something that I know I've already answered, I'm going to send a link, or I'm going to say the answer's in the video. I'm going to send one of those 2 things to save time for everyone. So if you have questions that I did not answer, in the comments below, if you have questions that are very extensively long, I recommend booking a one-on-one coaching while that's still available. When it comes to credit repair, I'm phasing that out. I've been phasing it out very, very slowly. If you guys have noticed, I don't have as many slots available. If you want to book those, book them while they're still available. At the time of recording this video, they will probably be there for a few more months. So I recommend that while I'm still doing that, you book them if you have extensively long questions or you have a unique situation. If not, you can do this yourself. You don't need to talk to me. I will never do it for you. The only thing that I'm going to tell you is my opinion on what we're looking at. I will give you my opinion and what I would do in that situation. It's only me just recommending what I would do. I will not do it for you. It's not a credit repair service. I don't offer any type of credit repair services. It's just me answering questions to your specific situation and then telling you what you can do. Once again, thank you guys so much for watching this video. You have a wonderful day.